What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody. Wow, my voice sounded loud on that one. I was like, am I yelling? Hopefully I'm not yelling. I don't want to pull a James Cadiz and a Frank Turek and start spitting in the camera uh, and yelling at you guys. Never my intention. Came out pretty hot. All right, you guys. Had to get my screen ready and my soundboard and everything dialed in. Hopefully the audio and everything looks good to go, you guys. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Moxbox. Cousin. Who else we got up in here? Oh, we got Jim. What up? Mystic, where you at? Mystic will be popping in any minute here. All right, you guys. Happy Thursday. Good to see you. Another jam-packed day full of material online. Really, it's hard to sift through some of this stuff. There's so much going on today. The day 4 of the Tyler Robinson Patsy on trial, framed, sad. Today was such a display of like, this is how you frame someone, and take it to the prelim, and like, oh my gosh, it's nuts. I need to gather my thoughts. I got so much going on. Let me start out with my normal routine. Welcome to another episode of the Black Line Brief. I am your host, Matthew McKim, and I do have a great show lined up for you guys tonight. As you guys come in, please do me a favor and hit the like and the subscribe. It's the best way to support a channel, and I appreciate it every single time. Thank you so much. All right. I think you know what I want to start out with. So, I don't know if anyone caught Zach Costello today. He covered some things that we covered yesterday, and then covered some new stuff that was happening today. But we're definitely going to look at an Andrew Colvett thing because, he did that post yesterday on TikTok that we watched once it was on X of him finally having questions 10 months after the assassination, only to turn around the next day and act like he never raised any questions at all. Like he's on his show today. No more questions. He just had questions for a second just to get it out there. Total PR stunt, only to turn around today and be like, oh my gosh, such an open and shut case. Lance Twiggs is the star witness and Tyler Robinson did it. And it's obvious. And, that's Brandon Tatum. That's freaking Jack Posobiec. All of them out there today acting like that we all saw some sort of like, concrete evidence that made us go, oh, Tyler did do it. No, not at all. The complete opposite. I went like, oh yeah, they for sure framed this kid. That's crazy. And Lance is in on it, man. So we'll definitely look at some of the Lance Twigg, video interview. I got some of the, normal cast of characters that we are going to look at. And, Ben Shapiro, Dana Loesch, and we got the Andrew Colvett and Blake Neff and Graham Allen and Jack Posobiec. But I want to start somewhere first. All right. So let's see, gather my thoughts. Today, so this is what I don't know if the prosecution like spoke out of turn or something. Like after they were done questioning that like Samoan, I don't know if you guys watched it. She was like, she's Pacific Islander. She's part of the investigative team, State Bureau of Investigations, talked a lot about the ballistics and things like that. After that, the state was like, the state rests its case in chief. And I was like, obviously it's just the prelim. And so I know it's not they don't mean entirely, but I was like, wait, they're not calling anyone else? And they didn't. Then the defense called this next chick up there. I don't know. So I think that was all. My point in saying that was, I think they've laid out all the evidence they're going to lay out. I think we've seen it all. I think today the prosecution finished showing us everything they had. That at least everything they had to try to convince the judge, who is the fact finder in the prelim, because there is no jury, who is the fact finder and the magistrate, and ultimately makes the decision on whether or not there's enough, if there's sufficient evidence to go to trial. So I highly doubt that they would be holding back any sort of like amazing piece of evidence. Like, why would you hold that only for the trial and not show that in the prelim when the whole prelim is to make sure you go to trial? Like, you want to lay out the case strong enough, the strongest, so that the judge doesn't say, no, we're not going to trial. So I highly doubt that there's any more evidence that they haven't showed us. And having said that, them resting today let us know that there is no mountain of evidence. There is no 90% could be thrown out and Tyler Robinson would still get convicted. There is no, we've seen all the evidence. You guys have only seen what the media has shown you, what's been released through, a Freedom of Information Act requests, through people's Substacks that are getting court documents and publishing them online. And there's no more of them gaslighting us that we are ill-informed in our, assessment of the Tyler Robinson, case, that there's not enough evidence. They're done being able to say that. They're done because today the prosecution finished and showed us everything they had, and it was nothing new. Everything that they showed today, we already knew existed. We knew the contents of the video, of the audio statements, of the photos. We knew what they were. We already knew that because everything they presented this week had already been discussed, written about in court documents, in the probable cause statement and probable cause affidavit, and what's the other charging document. Nothing new. All we got to see was the actual photos or the actual video or the actual audio of an interview. We already knew, though, like what Lance Twiggs was going to say. No surprise there. We already knew that the ATF and the FBI already did their ballistic test and concluded that it is within the 30 caliber range and matches with the ability to be fired from that kind of rifle. Newsflash, there's actually 30 different weapons, handguns included, that could have fired the round that they supposedly retrieved from Charlie Kirk's body. So, and only two of the ones in the class that matched the round were bolt action. The other 28 weren't even bolt action. So that's like, talk about, the percentage of being low, that it was one of the two bolt action out of the 30 possible weapons is insane. But they were able to get away for the last 10 months telling us that the evidence that we've seen, that we've heard about, that we've read about is just the beginning, or that they're just writing the basic, information about it. But once you see it, then you'll be converted to their side and you'll be, Tyler Robinson did it, defenders like them. You can't say that anymore. In fact, the presentation of their full evidence, everything they have as their evidence, what it did to me, and Zach said the same thing today, was that I am more convinced now than ever before that Tyler Robinson didn't shoot any weapon that day. He was never on the Losi Center roof, maybe didn't even go on campus. Those videos they showed of Tyler Robinson on campus are in the morning, the 8:30 and the 10 a.m. Videos of the parking garage and then the staircase in the maroon shirt and the shorts are the closest I'll come to believing he was on campus. But even then, when you look at those videos, you cannot positively identify who they are. Lance Twiggs couldn't even positively identify Tyler Robinson from those Eagle Boy videos and photos. Okay. Newsflash. Freaking Lance Twiggs is for sure like a federal agent or informant, in my opinion. Doesn't even know his supposed lover. They're like, I love you, babe. doesn't even know what he there's so much in the video from today of Lance Twiggs that made me go, oh no, they for sure framed this kid. Holy smokes. You know, I was leaving open the possibility that I was wrong. Today, I'm like 99.99999 repeating that we're not wrong. That we're not wrong at all. So, but what I want to start with you guys is a piece from the trial where one of the defense attorneys calls out Erica Kirk. It was great. It was glorious. And then, of course, then the knight in shining armor, the white knight, Erica's attorney, had to come to the rescue and completely BS. Because I'll show you, I remember one clip that will back up what I'm going to say and what the defense attorney argued today. And that's just one. I can't remember all of the different clips that she went on. Erica Kirk, what different TV appearances she did back in like October, November, December, where she was claiming that, you know, she is so positive Tyler did it because like she's part of the prosecution, like she is the prosecution, like her lawyers are on the team, and that she's seen the evidence and the evidence is so overwhelming, and that's why she was positive that Tyler did it back in November, December. But you'll hear her lawyer argue that the defense attorney was just totally lying. Well, no. And this is just one clip of her saying that. So let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't keep us waiting any further. While I refresh this screen real quick, one last thing. We got 88 people here. I'm sure we can get 88 likes. Please hit the like and subscribe, and we're going to get right into it once this monitor catches up. Now we're caught up. Let's do this. I don't want to miss
what we think is the appropriate balance.
All right, so this guy right here, the back of the head, this lawyer standing up at the podium or the lectern, this is Erica Kirk / TPUSA's, one of her and their attorneys, okay?
After a very thoughtful and thorough analysis, I'm going to ask the court to reconsider one of its prior rulings. I understand reconsideration is always a big ask.
Oh, newsflash. He's arguing, like the prosecution, that all of the evidence, like all the evidence that was manufactured, that was tailored, that was forced by, you know, what's his name, McBride and the SBI agents and the FBI agents to make it look like that Tyler did it. They want all the evidence submitted. And the reason why the defense is saying, no, I object, is because Lance Twiggs is a liar. He's up there lying. He got full immunity. He's a liar. He's lying. Okay. And a lot of the evidence that they say they want to show, why would the judge sustain, or I mean, yeah, why would he sustain the defense's objection? Why wouldn't he overrule it if they were totally wrong about their objection? Because they're right. And he knows, because he's seen the full clips. He's seen everything that the defense is objecting to and realizes, no, we're not letting that in. So this attorney's up there arguing like, yeah, we deserve it. She deserves it. The public deserves it. People in the courtroom at least deserve it.
But I do think, Your Honor, that if the court were to display publicly, or just in the courtroom, Exhibit 12.1, which is the enhanced video, version 12.4, which was played in court, was very hard for the family to view. We think that we asked the court that since the court's considering it, the family should be able to view it as well. When conducting the appropriate balancing, the court, as the court knows, can alleviate any concerns about proper jury selection with certain tools at its disposal. However, if the court were to deny the family the right to view that video, there's no cure. It's either they get to view it or they don't. So we would ask the court to reconsider its prior ruling and to display just in the courtroom Exhibit 12.1, which is the enhanced video. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Turning to the parties, starting with the state, Mr. Grunander.
Thank you, Judge. The state does not oppose publishing 12.4 in the courtroom. I think we've tried to make it very clear throughout this case that we favor openness and transparency as much as appropriate. I'll submit it on that.
Thank you, Mr. Grunander. To defense, Mr. Burt.
My apologies, that's 12.1, not 12.4.
Thank you.
Judge applies is to determine the defendant's guilt. It's not to educate the public or the victim's family or the world on what evidence the government or the state has. As the court knows, we have witness availability problems. We spent the bulk of today and yesterday arguing about nothing to do with the evidence in the case, but with rights of third parties. And it's appropriate for the court to consider that. But at some point, I think the court has to return to the purpose of these hearings, which is to expeditiously hear the evidence and then determine probable cause. And I want to point out to the court, Ms. Kirk has been very adept at holding press conferences at which she has revealed evidence. She has represented that the state is her attorney. She has access to all the evidence that the state has publicized and that the media and her own lawyer argues is already in the public domain. So they're perfectly free to go outside this courtroom under the court's protective order. They're free to go out and hold press conferences and announce to the world outside the courtroom what they think the evidence is. They have the availability of that evidence. But the court's role, I think, at some point is to exercise some control, move the case forward, and especially when we have witness availability problems. And I'd ask the court, whatever the court does, if you're going to allow revisiting or replaying of evidence for the sole purpose of informing the world or Ms. Kirk or anybody else, that the court do it at the end of the process and not at this point where we will be deprived of our ability to call this witness, because she has to be done today.
Thank you, Mr. Burt.
Thank you.
Brief.
I'm letting it play all the way through. Then I'm going to comment because he comes back up and look at Judge Graff is like, you need to chill, bro. Erica's attorney. I don't have time for this. We're not going back and forth. If you're going to come up here, you better make it brief.
Briefly. And I say that because time is of the essence, not because I don't want to hear what you have to say.
I understand, but there was a lot that was just said that's just not true.
Well, so let me put this in the spot where we need to be. And I understand that there's opinions, but I have to keep this to the probable cause. I don't want this to go to a back and forth about issues that lie outside of probable cause. And I realize statements are made, and as the victim's representative attorney, you want to address it. So I will hear you, but we need to be brief. So if you can be succinct, I definitely want to hear what you have to say.
Your Honor, I am almost always brief, I promise you. The family has not seen this video. It hasn't. It doesn't have access to the evidence the state has. The state is the state, and Ms. Kirk and the family have their representatives. There's a completely distortion of reality that was just put forth. And this isn't about educating anybody about anything. This is about allowing the family to see the evidence that's been gathered after a 10-month investigation in which a father, a husband was assassinated.
So did you guys hear that? He literally just performed for us. He was, I don't know. Okay. So I think attorneys are also like actors. You know what I mean? Like he's like, and I'm not making fun of what he's saying. I'm not making fun of it. I'm calling him out for how he did it. He's a performative tool, right? Because what he's defending is Erica, and he's talking about how Erica has been through so much and that Erica deserves it. Okay. We don't see the parents aren't being represented by an attorney. I mean, obviously she's the advocate, the victim advocate, I think, or what is it called, that term Erica Kirk is. But he's like almost crying. You could hear it in his voice. He's like about to cry in him trying to just, throw a tantrum on the lectern. But you got to do it for Erica, the widow. For the widow, do it for the widow.
That's what this is about. So we ask you to please allow the family to view the video like the court has viewed,
please,
in order to allow the family to process this moment.
It's so disgusting. The video that he's talking about is the Lance Twiggs video. How is that going to help you process this moment? How is listening to a pretend boyfriend of a framed, 20-something-year-old going to help you process this moment? Okay. Erica Kirk, the one that wanted to see Charlie Kirk's body inside of on the table after the surgeon was like, you don't want to see this. You're not going to be able to get this out of your mind. You don't want to see it. She's like, no, I want to see what they did to my husband, to Daddy. We call him Daddy. I want to see what they did to him. But she doesn't want to see who and how they assassinated him so that she could have an informed perspective as to, is it a 30-06? Doesn't look like it. Wait, why didn't it come out the back? Like, wait, what's happening to his shirt? Did his necklace just break and fly over his head? What's going on? She doesn't want any of that. This woman is just one of the worst, and she's got one of the worst attorneys up there doing the same thing. We'll get into it. Let's finish this real quick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything further before the court issues its ruling and we go from there?
All right, the ruling B, his ruling is, we don't have time for this. You can sit down and shut up. This is not a yes. It's not a no. It's, we don't have time for this. We have a witness that's been waiting all day, and we got to get to her because she's only available today, and she's either flown out here or drove out here from wherever she came from, and after today, unavailable. So pause. We're not talking about this right now. We'll talk about it later. Remind me if I forget. There you go. That's what he said. All right. But I thought it was very, very key to point out that everything the defense lawyer said is 100% true. Everything that Erica Kirk's attorney said is 100% gaslighting, because this is just one clip. This is just one that I found. And it's not the guy. It's just where I paused it. So it's this, dude, but it's going to be Erica.
Bob, thank you so much. I want to talk about discernment.
Yes.
Okay. Being able to separate truth from lies, reality from unreality. A 22-year-old man named Tyler Robinson has been arrested and charged with the murder of your husband. And yet there are a huge number of conspiracy theories, you might call them brain rot, that are spreading right now online about the actual story behind the reality. One, people say that Tyler Robinson was actually a MAGA Republican. Or two,
Okay. This woman right here. Let me see when this aired. Okay. If I recall, this aired on, where's the date? December 14th. So September, October, November. 3 months, ladies and gentlemen. 3 months after Charlie Kirk was brutally assassinated. And at 3 months, we did not have answers. She did not have answers. Okay. She's up here. And so the Erica Kirk's attorney, why does everyone that's like part of TPUSA now, everyone that's connected to and defending Erica Kirk, why do they all have like selective amnesia? Like the attorney's like, when did she go on any press conferences? When did she do any of that? That never happened. What, bro? Like, okay, she didn't like hold a like actual press conference, but she totally went on the circuit, like she went around and, was promoting the book. But when she was promoting the book, she was also, performing for all of us, rubbing Vicks in her eyes, and then telling us like how, well, no, even the memorial, what was that? So on the 10th, it was on the 21st, 11 days after, she's already doing what the defense was saying. She's up there saying like, I forgive this man. He's guilty. And then from then on, everything she said was, yes, I believe he did it. And I believe he did it because I know I've seen the evidence. And here she is right here. And Barry Weiss poses a question and she has the audacity to like, bro, your husband was just brutally assassinated and you're out here on camera. How How are you out of bed? How are you out of the house? Why aren't you with your kids? What are you doing? Not only are you out of the house and you're not with your kids, you're on this freaking tour and you're done crying. And when you do cry, it's not real. And you have the audacity to sit up here and, scoff and laugh at things the way Barry phrases it, but to us are meaningful questions and concerns that when you laugh and scoff, it belittles us. We are asking because we care about Charlie. And you're up here basically mocking us. Yeah, it had already turned bad for her, but December 14th was when everyone was like, oh, no. Yeah, she's bad. Yep. I think she had something to do with it. This day right there, this was the day when everyone on full display that had any doubts and any questions was on the fence, was like, oh, no. She's evil. She's got something to do with it. Don't know how much, don't know to what degree, but look at the face. Says 1,000 words.
Some people say you were actually a Mossad agent sitting in front of me, and you were Charlie's handler, and Israel killed Charlie.
Right.
Other people say that a number of men in the crowd were wearing maroon T-shirts.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's look at that real quick. Let's see. How do I make this big? On that one. All right. It's a small photo. But just in this one photo alone, we got this guy. Wait, is it on the screen? Yeah, it is. All right, cool. This guy is literally dressed exactly like Tyler Robinson. Maroon shirt, hat. He had glasses, but he turns. I don't have the timestamp for the video where this is pulled from. Backpack. We got another dude, maroon shirt. He's bothered that he's being photographed. This guy should be found out. We got another maroon shirt over here. This is just one photo. Okay. And then, yep. Oh, here we go. Does this guy look like that guy? The back of the head and the hat looks pretty similar. How many Tyler Robinson lookalikes do we have? This is supposedly Tyler Robinson. He's not wearing Chuck Taylors in this. Those are not Converse. Those are like Asics or some, Payless version of running shoes. Look how big that sole is. Those are not Converse, okay? This doesn't even look like a legit, like burgundy maroon shirt. It's like a blood orange red, like the inside of a blood orange. You know what I mean? Like, he looks different here. And these are like blue jeans. Obviously, it's like, these are like not dark blue. These are just like, I don't know, Levi kind of normal looking jeans. It's a different, obviously, tint to the window, to the video. But for them to make fun of the fact that, there was people, a significant amount of men there that day, all just happened to wear maroon shirts. And then it turned out the guy they said did this was wearing a maroon shirt. That's not weird. And now we're told, and it's possible if that early morning video of Tyler Robinson is Tyler Robinson coming on campus and walking around, part of what role he played in this was to go on campus and walk around in a maroon shirt. Don't know why, but clearly a lot of people were given that task that day. A lot of 20-year-old men were given a task to wear a hat and a maroon shirt and just be there. Be there and walk around. They have the audacity to laugh at us about that.
And this signifies that his killing was an elite airborne operation, whatever that means. They say that the rings on your fingers, which are
my kids'
your kids' initials.
Someone should have told her, maybe don't do this. You definitely looked like one of the evil, witches and queens from like the Disney movies when you did that. Like, these bad boys, these are like my own pair of golden knuckles. I don't wear brass knuckles. I got these bad boys. And I just, you know what I mean? She's like, see this? This is worth more than your car. Okay. I did this in my sleep.
My wedding band, the Medal of Freedom, my engagement ring.
Yeah, that Medal of Freedom, like, I don't know, that should be illegal. You shouldn't be able to take a Medal of Freedom worn by the person that's supposed to have it. It should be inside of a case, put up on a wall, and like memorialized, not put in a ring that you walk around as some sort of token to be like, remember this? Remember this? Do you know who I am? She's like trying to get into an event. Remember when she told about this story that she was getting on a boat and someone let her on because they thought she was Cameron Diaz? She does that kind of thing, right? She wants to go to an event. They don't let her in. And she's just like, no, have you not seen my Medal of Freedom ring? Let me in. The power of Christ compels you.
But apparently they symbolize some kind of secret plot. There's also a new theory that Egyptian aircraft have been tracking you. What is going on?
Notice how they twist this. Egyptian aircrafts have been tracking you. Wait till she gets to her response. And it's totally like a linguistic trick or tactic and how they manipulate. She takes the question about Egyptian planes tracking you and she turns it into something totally different. Like, nobody said you were on the plane, moron. Okay. Just like no one said you were at Fort Huachuca on the morning of the 9th. All right. Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Why are there so many conspiracies spreading about what seems to be a pretty open and shut case?
This is the first time that we have seen evil on display where we have social media at our fingertips.
No, it's not.
Something so evil that happened, people are wanting answers immediately. They are wanting to figure out how to wrap their mind around this.
Wait, like literally, wouldn't you say Butler is like a more recent example? And there's like a dozen others. This is not the first time.
Egyptian planes.
Egyptian
planes.
Do you believe that Tyler Robinson murdered your husband?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Why do you think it is so hard for so many people to believe that reality?
Because it's too simple. Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. I've seen the autopsy report. I've seen our case pulled together.
Our case.
I've been in constant contact with our lawyers.
Our lawyers.
The prosecuting team. I've seen it all. And let me tell you this.
She's seen it all. She's seen it all, ladies and gentlemen.
Why in the world, why should we
meaning the prosecution, remember the defense attorney said that she was framing it like she is part of the prosecution. And then her attorney got up there and said, that never happened. She's never done that. Barry Weiss, ladies and gentlemen. Who's the actor? He was a failed actor just like Erica. Who did I play? Who's a failed actor? Oh, her lawyer? Yes. It's always their backup job.
Prior to the trial, lay all of our hands and cards on the table for the defense.
All of our hands. She keeps saying that she is the prosecution. Her team, her lawyers are the state of Utah, the Utah County Attorney's Office, and the prosecution.
Team to somehow then, I don't even know what they would do with it. But what I will say,
we know you don't
and
know.
I want to get on the Egyptian plane thing.
Oh.
We'll take a flight on that for a second.
She's making jokes 3 months after. Take a flight on that for a second. I bet her PR team backstage was like, stupid. Oh my gosh, we told her not to go off script. Why does she do this? Why? This is why we write the script. Did you not sit down with her and make her read it? I thought we made her swear on the occult Bible, which is the Bible she reads when she, prays to Satan. She didn't.
What I will say is what I'm worried about, and I'm fascinated, just from a legal standpoint, to see how the United Healthcare trial pans out.
In the context of talking about her husband's assassination and the trial regarding who killed him, she's fascinated. Just like 8 days after the murder of Charlie Kirk, she goes on the Charlie Kirk show and she said she's excited. She's fascinated and excited. Not words that a grieving widow should be saying.
And I say that because this is the first time where we are seeing the implications.
You're talking about Luigi Mangione.
Correct. I prefer never to say any of their names. They do not even deserve the ounce of oxygen and breath out of my body.
That sounds like you have hate, though. that seems kind of contradictory to I forgive that man. That man. Forgive him for he not know what he do. That's not even how you say it. You and Jack Posobiec need to go back to your freaking classes and learn how to be a Christian all over again. Okay. But like saying like you don't want to utter their names. I can't even say their names because it just, I can't give it oxygen. That sounds like anger. That sounds like not forgiveness, young lady. And Luigi Mangione didn't even supposedly kill your husband like Tyler Robinson did. You'll forgive Tyler Robinson, but you're mad at Luigi? What did he do to you?
Body. But what I mean is it's fascinating to see how social media will impact that court case.
Don't open
just
your-
how it might impact mine.
Are you nervous he's not going to get a fair trial? Are you?
Well, I'm nervous that there could be, they'll say we can't find a fair jury. Like,
She's not worried he's not going to get a fair trial. She's worried that they're not going to get an impartial jury. Newsflash, my lady, you are the reason why Tyler, and you know it. It's been deliberate. You don't want Tyler Robinson to have a fair trial. That's why you're doing all of these, appearances. That's why you have Tweedledee and Tweedledum out there every day saying stupid stuff.
they're going to taint the jury pool. And in that case,
That's how widespread you think these conspiracies have gone.
Just in that case, stand by. I'm coming.
yes.
That's how mainstream they become.
She's
Okay.
so
Egyptian
mad.
planes.
Barry's like, no. We don't need to talk about Egyptian planes. We don't need to do it. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. Stop. She's like, no, I insist. Barry's like, fine.
Want to talk
that
about
one?
Egyptian planes?
Okay. I was pregnant for 90% of those trips. Mind you, I've never, all those places they said I've traveled, I've never been.
Wait,
I mean, I've been, but I'm not.
You can't make this up. I'll go back. All those places they said I've traveled, I've never been. I mean, I've been, but I've never been. I've never been there. Have you been there? I've never been there. Oh, no, I mean, I've been there. Okay, remember the claim. The claim is that the Egyptian planes were like tracking and monitoring her. And she's starting out like she's never been on an Egyptian plane.
Okay.
Egyptian planes.
Yes.
You
We'll
want to talk
pack that
about
one?
Egyptian planes?
Okay. I was pregnant for 90% of those trips. Mind you, I've never, all those places they said I've traveled, I've never been. I mean, I've been, but I'm not within those dates that they've.
But you even said you need to.
No, but
address
this is,
these things?
yeah, but I do on that one, only because from a humor standpoint,
From a humor standpoint.
I intend.
Because this is funny. Because all of this regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination is funny, fascinating, and exciting, says the widow.
Intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed.
I don't know. Let's see. I think it was you were embarrassed. I think it was. Let's see. It's my bookmarks. Yes, it was you're embarrassed. You be embarrassed much. This be you. This is embarrassed much. Yes, no? You did hide. Stop lying, Erica. We know when you're lying. There you is. This is why you hid. The only time you came out in appearances was so that you could be on the James Kadoosh show, because nobody watches that except for you and all the other crazy people that are crazy Zionists. So, I mean, yeah. Is that the last one? Yeah. Oh, this one was funny too. We found the crocodile in Captain Hook. She skinned him and put him on her back. All right. Let me go back. It's funny, by the way, but she didn't hide. Okay.
Not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private, but it's because it was a moment very sacred. I was growing a human inside of me, my baby.
It sounds like the first time. It's like she's an alien and she was like, and I was growing a Homo sapien inside of me. Have you ever done that, Barry? Barry, you've never done that, have you? It's crazy. It's fascinating. It's exciting.
The world that Charlie and I live in is very toxic at times.
Yeah.
And when you are growing a beautiful child in you, I don't want to be around it. I want to enjoy eating my In-N-Out burger and my hot fudge sundae.
So she's tearing up when she's thinking about herself fat and pregnant. But when she talks about Charlie being assassinated, she's just fascinated and excited, intrigued, you know. But she's remembering the days of being pregnant and her milkshakes and French fries, and she gets, reminiscent and she gets teary-eyed. Or it's because she's like, I can't believe they forced me to carry a human being inside of me. Never do that again.
That's what I want to do. I'm pregnant and I have 9 months to own it. You really think I'm going to be on an Egyptian plane while I am wanting to be with my In-N-Out burger and my chocolate milkshake? No.
No one said you were on the plane, moron. Not the Egyptian plane. They were following you. The fact that you couldn't even refute that claim, you created a whole false claim, is crazy. It actually makes it a stronger argument that you might for sure be Charlie's handler, and maybe working as some sort of asset for our intelligence and theirs,
I'm not. So if you want to go through my flight log, go right ahead. It's very boring. You say I was here on this date. I have a photo in my phone to prove that I actually was in the hospital.
Wait, the photo in her phone is her alibi. Where have we heard that before? Have we seen that before, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, somebody could send you a photo just because you have a photo. I could just take a picture of something online and be like, I got a photo in my phone. Like I could Google Hawaii and have a beautiful landscape of the beach, take a photo of it and be like, see, I was in Hawaii. I have a photo in my phone. It proves I was on the beach. Just like you had a photo of two kids that aren't yours and they weren't even on the date that we said you were at Fort Huachuca. And you're like, see, I wasn't there. Stupid Gary No Melton was like, see? And then months later, he's like, it doesn't even matter if those aren't her kids. That's the alibi, moron. Her alibi was she was with her kids. He goes, you have nothing to see here. You don't have Jedi skills, bro.
Because I was having contractions. So game on.
Game on. Did they film this in Israel? That's the only way they could get that many people in the audience to clap for her. Or they paid her. I don't know.
Pastor Candace Owens, okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies.
Ooh, the name that shall not be named. How dare you utter her name in my presence? I go into convulsions when you say her name in my presence. It's like the demon came alive in her. She's like, nah. Oh, Erica, someone's got to tell you offset. Stop. That's it. Just stop.
And she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
Stop.
Oh, ooh.
That's it.
Oh,
That's all I have to say.
holy smokes. Give me chill.
Stop.
Okay.
It's like
The next question.
we were looking right into the eyes of the devil himself. Look at her. So poised. This is the woman that Andrew and Blake are like, we are so proud of her. James Cadiz and Jack Hibbs and Frank Turek. Like, she's such a warrior. She's just carried herself with such dignity and such grace and such poise. Charlie would be proud. Huh? No.
Comes from a person who may be familiar to you, Erica, because Charlie interviewed him for his show.
Oh, no. We're not listening to you. What I thought was crazy too earlier on. Don't forget that they're totally okay with interviewing, letting Hunter Kozak ask her a question. We're not going to get into that right now, but hold on. There was more good parts from this. I don't know if you guys remember this one. What do we got? Anna Michael. Hey, Matt, I recently found your channel and I just wanted to say you're doing a great job. Keep up the amazing work. Go Max. Thank you, Anna. I appreciate that. That's very kind. All right, let's see. All right, I need to go back to where I had my bookmark for the other things. that I wanted to show. All right. Hold on. Okay. I guess we'll stay on this because Ben Shapiro. So people were, talking about the maroon shirts because maroon shirts came up, and then Candace and all of us were like, at least it should be like looked into, like what are the actual odds that like that many grown men all decided to wear maroon shirts and a hat all on the same day at the same event where Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and the supposed gunman was also wearing a maroon shirt and a hat. Like, I think the odds are pretty astronomical that like not likely, and then you find out that like certain units do things like that. They'll like wear certain colors to distinguish themselves from other people, right? Because in a chaotic situation where a lot of things are going crazy, you have time to like look at the faces per se of every person on your team and go like friendly, not friendly, friendly, not friendly. You're just like maroon shirt, good, maroon shirt, good. You know what I mean? So that there's no friendly fire, and like, you can identify people just like that by the color of their shirt, and units do this. So that isn't that crazy of a claim that Candace made. And we're going to have freaking Ben Shapiro out here acting like it's the dumbest thing he's ever heard of. I mean, but Ben is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
Dumbest conspiracy theory in the entire conspiracy theory universe of Charlie Kirk. And understand, this is a fiercely competitive.
I think he has a list. The dumbest conspiracy theory of the universe.
Category. Candace Owens has now looked at the footage from the day Charlie Kirk was murdered and decided that the real story is the color of the shirts people were wearing.
No, it's not
It is the maroon shirt theory.
Oh my goodness.
Candace Owens claims she noticed an unusual number of young men wearing maroon shirts that day.
Yes.
A lot of them seemingly there alone. And her conclusion was not maroon is a normal color shirt. It's these must be government decoys. Government decoys so stupid that Candace Owens could uncover them by the color of their shirt alone.
No, it's that the person that they're framing as the gunman also happened to be wearing a maroon shirt. And honestly, I mean, I don't own one maroon shirt. I don't own any maroon shirts. I don't like go out and go like, yeah, I want to get a maroon shirt. I don't know many guys. I'm sure there are some guys out there that have them. I've never seen you in a maroon shirt, Ben. If it's so common, why don't you wear one, you freaking idiot? Why didn't you wear one on the show? That would have been smart.
Now, maroon is not exactly like an exotic shirt color.
It is for guys.
Like they weren't wearing like peacock feathers or something. And more importantly, there is a technical college called MTech right there in Orem. It's partnered with UVU, and their actual school color is maroon.
Okay, but was Tyler Robinson part of that school? No. Did you interview all the guys in the maroon shirt to determine whether or not they are part of that school? No. So you're just bringing it up just because their color happened to be maroon? Okay.
So maroon shirts in the valley there are probably not a secret operational signal or decoy.
Probably.
Yeah, man. The withering intellect on this lady, my goodness. Now, again, the evidence that is emerging in the Tyler Robinson preliminary hearing is stuff that, because of contemporaneous media reporting, we already knew existed. Like, for example, Tyler Robinson turning himself in at the behest of his parents.
Not at the behest of his parents. That did not come out in the trial today at all. Okay. The parents and the officer friend and Tyler realized they had no other option but to surrender the way and on the terms they deemed so that they could keep him alive.
See, here's the thing. Typically, when a murder suspect turns himself in to the cops and confesses to the thing.
He never confessed. That also clearly came out in trial today. He never confessed, and the defense objected any time the prosecution tried to put forth the text messages, the Discord chats, and Lance Twiggs' testimony, hearsay testimony that, Tyler Robinson confessed. In fact, let's hop over here. Okay. Oh man, that's not the one. Hold on. Where it be? Where's the actual one that I have? Hold on one second. There's so many. It's like they pumped out so many videos today. Why isn't it? where's the one that is just of the trial? Hold on. I thought I had it pulled up of just the trial. Give me a second. I think that's the other thing that they're doing. They literally pumped out Real America's Voice. They pumped out so many videos this week. Not the recap. Tyler Robinson preliminary hearing. There it is. All right. Hold on. Okay. But I don't want their stupid testimony. Okay. There's one of the text messages that we have no clue. Hold on. I don't think you can see it, right? Oh, hold on. No, I didn't share it to the screen. There we go. Now I can put it on. All right, cool. Where'd it be? There we go. Now I got to scroll through the bottom. Here we go. Let me get to the beginning of Lance Twiggs. Okay, make sure they didn't play it before the break. And they come back. Hold on. I'm almost there. Here it is. Right here. All right. We're going to look at the Lance Twiggs testimony. Oh, no, get off there. Oh, I missed one. No, I got that one. Okay, there's this one though. Joanne VB. Hi. What is CLP? It's a different currency. Where are you viewing from, Joanne or Johan? 1,000 CLP. I wonder what that translates to in US dollars. All right, let's get to the Lance Twiggs.
For that direction as well as for the gallery.
Understand that?
Mm-hmm. Oh man.
Okay, so in order to do that, I need to place you under oath and also give you an admonition about false statement.
Okay, all he did was like open by saying like this is an interview. It's as good as a testimony, and so this is your testimony. So we have to swear you in, and I have to give you this statement to let you know that you cannot lie under oath, right? Renita, what up? Thank you for your super. I demand a welfare check on the midget horse. Yeah. Poor midget horse. We should demand a welfare check on Jeremy Boring's little dog. Like, someone should rescue that dog. That poor dog.
That's okay. First, you do solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give in this issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God?
Yes.
I also need to notify you that you are notified that statements you are about to make may be presented to a magistrate or a judge in lieu of your sworn testimony at a preliminary examination. Any false statement you make and that you do not believe to be true may subject you to criminal punishment as a Class A misdemeanor. You understand that?
Yes.
It potentially could be used as for punishment as a higher offense as obstruction of justice. In addition, I just want to make sure that our recording here is clear that you've also been given a federal agreement and a state agreement granting you immunity from prosecution for materials that you discuss now. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First, we're going to cover some of the things that you've already talked about, but to make it as part of this record. First, what's your name?
Full name with middle name or just first and last?
First and last is fine.
Okay, my name is Lance Twiggs.
And do you know Tyler Robinson?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do.
And this is the same Tyler Robinson that's been charged with the shooting of Charlie Kirk?
Yes.
And would you say when you...
How did he not know that he knew Tyler Robinson? The question couldn't have been more straightforward. Do you know Tyler Robinson? I mean, yeah, yes, I. Is yes, I do the right answer? Okay, yes, I do. Yes. Someone off behind the camera was like, yes, you know Tyler Robinson.
First met Tyler?
I think it was 2023. I've known him longer than that, though. That was, I think, the first time I met him in person.
Okay.
And will you describe your relationship with Tyler when you first met him anyway?
When I first met him, I didn't know him super well. He was just a new roommate. So I knew he knew my friend group, and I knew he liked playing games, but that's about it when we first, when he first moved in.
Okay. Before we go on, I realized my mic was muted at the outset. Was yours?
No, you don't have to redo it. It wasn't muted, and it's echoing. The echo's not me, it's them. They're rookies, man. Lance Twiggs looks like a masculine lesbian. Yeah, he also, I mean, he's not a skinny little frail little person. The only thing feminine about him is that he's got long hair. I don't think he was ever in transition, or I don't even think that they were in any kind of, relationship with Tyler Robinson. You're going to hear him basically not really know anything about Tyler Robinson at all. And he even goes on at one point and goes like, he had his friend group and he had his friend group, and they didn't really know one another's friends and anything. It's just like, you guys lived together. You guys supposedly dating for a certain period of time. And I don't know. There's so much wrong with this, but let me pull up. Do you guys remember the photos of Lance Twiggs, supposedly Lance Twiggs in Texas, filling up his Infinity and walking into his house? Let's see if I have it here, but let me see if I can make it big. Do you guys think this is, oh, that's me. No, I'm not him. Do you guys think this is the same guy? I mean, it kind of looks like him, but I also think it could not be. It definitely, this version of him in the court today doesn't look like the same one in all of the older photos. My wife was like, yeah, but that's him when he was much younger. And I'm like, okay, but I still looked like me. I just was smaller. Like this one, I don't know, man. We don't know for sure that this person in the courtroom today is the same guy that we see. Where's another one that I could show you? That's a clear photo. Oh, this is a good side by side. Here we go. This is a clear one. Here we go. Yeah, I don't know. This guy looks like he has a lot of, I don't know if it's acne or freckles or things on his face. Than the guy inside of the court here. It could be him. It could be a totally different lookalike person. I don't know.
Your microphone. Okay, I'm going to repeat those admonitions just to make sure we got it recorded. Okay, so again, I placed you under oath. Just to make a record, I'm going to do it again. You do solemnly swear that the evidence you shall give in this issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
And again, I'm going to give you the false statement admonition.
Sorry, hold on. If they're saying that it's echoing.
Yes, it is.
I think this one's mic is on.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, you know, I'll mute my mic.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so we should be good. All right.
This fake Lance Twiggs is smarter than all of them. He's like, yeah, you guys are morons. It's on.
Is that mic on?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Sorry.
All right. Okay, sorry about that interruption. All right. So you said when you first met, you were roommates?
Yeah.
Okay. And then at some point, your relationship progressed to something more than just roommates, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
When was that?
I think we started dating 2 or 3 months after he moved in.
Okay. And where did you live at that time?
St. George, in an apartment complex.
And is that apartment the same place you lived when on September 10th?
Yes.
When you lived there with Tyler, were you in the same room? Did you live in the same room or different rooms?
Separate rooms.
So they've been dating for a while. They say, I love you, my dear. You know, text mwah, mwah, mwah together, but they slept and had different rooms. Yeah, right. Okay.
And at that time, let's say September of 2025, what were you doing with your life? Were you working, school?
I was working. I was doing like bathtub and shower repair and stuff in new construction.
Okay. How about Tyler?
I think he was both working. I think he was working for an electrician company then, and he was also in a trade school for being I don't know, higher like ranking electrician. I'm not sure how the trade system works for that.
Okay.
But
So he doesn't know. He's not sure what Tyler did, what his position was, what his title was. He doesn't know.
I think he was both.
What was his typical work day like?
I think he'd leave around 7 generally and get back around 3 to 4, depending on like where the job was and how long it was for the day. And then on certain days of the week during school, like semesters, he would then later in the day, I think around 5 or 6, go to school. So, yeah.
Okay. Let's jump to September 10th. Did he spend the night in the apartment the night of September 9th into September 10th?
Yeah, he did.
How does he not know what they're talking about? So this interview, okay, this is the other thing that's really, really weird. All right. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that after any kind of event or just any day, right? If something happened and your memory is wanting to be recalled by someone asking you questions about that event, do you think that your memory is going to be sharpest the next day? The closer to that day of the event, the sharper the memory, right? The further away you get from that event, the more likely that certain parts, certain distinct specifics about that day, your memory starts to fade and become a little bit more, hazy around the, specifics. So he gave his testimony back in like, I don't know, September, October timeframe. But it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. So, and he hadn't been promised immunity yet. And, a lot of the things that we do see on TV that we hear about tactics that like the police and FBI do when they're wanting to get, I guess, like a kind of a coerced confession, informants, right? Like are known to lie, because usually informants are also in trouble themselves, and that they're being given some sort of leniency or deal for their testimony, for them speaking against whoever they're talking about, right? Informing on. So he said one thing back last year when it's closest to the event and his memory would be clearest. It wasn't good enough. They call him back in March. They get this testimony and he gets immunity for it. Ooh. Do you think something's wrong with that? I mean, I do. Do you also think something's wrong that his parents came into money right at the same time and bought 2 homes, opened an LLC and a nonprofit at the same exact time? Seems like they made a pretty sweet deal for Lance Twiggs and his family in order for them to get this confession that they are fighting or testimony. Well, I guess he's confessing. He's confessing that Tyler told him all these things and that Tyler is the one that did it. Sounds like they gave him a sweet deal so that he would say what they wanted him to say. They've been fighting so hard all week for this. Half of yesterday was about this video, the arguing and the defense stonewalling, like Andrew and Blake say. No, it was about this video not being allowed and being admitted into evidence because it's total BS. It's not worth anything other than what the prosecution says it is. But you know what I mean? It's insane.
Yes.
Do you know when he left the apartment on September 10th?
I don't know an exact time. I just know he left early. I heard him leaving, and he just said he had a long drive to work that day, so he was leaving early.
Okay, so early. Any guess as to what when that was?
I don't know. I would have thought it was 5 a.m. because that's when like an early work day was for him, but it was probably more like 4.
Do you think he should be allowed to speculate about this, right? The prosecution, McBride, asking him, what's your best guess? Do you really think that part of his testimony should be him guessing about any of this information? No. Dang it. I had something else that I was going to say about this, and I lost it.
Okay.
I'm gonna have him spit out his gum just to make sure that
I can do that.
you mind make sure right in front of your laptop.
Oh, here you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Yep. I knew I was going to get it back. One of the reasons why I think that they had to do this event, and there's many reasons why this event happened in Utah, right? So everyone being able to conceal carry and carry a sidearm, right? That's what came out earlier this week when the police asked, like, is it normal for students to be able to carry firearms? Well, it's college. They're adults. If they have, I don't know if they need a concealed carry permit, a CCP, or license, it's CCL or whatever it's called, CDL, whatever it is, but a concealed carry permit or license, that if they had to have that in Utah. But the fact is that guns are allowed on that campus. Students are allowed to carry guns on that campus. And that's just one. The main one that I wanted to point out here was that the state of Utah and a few other states, but at least I know this because I researched about the state of Utah. The preliminary hearing, they're allowed to enter hearsay in the preliminary hearing. This is why defense has been objecting about all the stuff they want to enter in this week. It's because the prosecution does not intend to bring any of these people into the trial to go on the stand and subject themselves to cross-examination. The people that, some of the agents that conducted the analyses of ballistics, DNA, other people's statements, and they don't intend to bring a lot of this out during the trial and subject certain people to cross-examination. The state of Utah allows hearsay in the preliminary hearing, which is the prosecution's way of forcing a good majority of evidence into the trial without it having to be, cross-examined or, it wouldn't be coming in during the trial. They knew that, and they tried to they've gotten away with some of it to force it in during the preliminary hearing. And Utah is at least one state that allows that.
All right, so what time did you get up on September 10th?
Probably like 12 to 1 p.m.
You didn't have to work that day?
No.
And did you hear from Tyler? Did he call or text you before then?
No, he sent that message in the group chat I mentioned, but he didn't message me directly at all that day.
Okay. When did you first hear from him on September 10th?
It was at 11 o'clock with that automated message.
Okay, 11 p.m.
Yeah.
What about, he asks you here, remember how I was engraving bullets? Was he engraving bullets before this?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when, but he had said he was planning to go hunting with his family. And he asked me for if we had a Dremel because he said he wanted to engrave messages on bullets. And I just told him where Dremel was and told him to make sure he doesn't like set off a bullet on accident in the house. But I didn't really think about it until then.
How long before September 10th was this that he asked about the Dremel?
I don't remember, because he'd been talking about the hunting/camping trip for a couple months, but I don't remember when he was specifically asking to engrave the bullets. So
are we talking like a year before?
Oh no, not that long. It would have been, I'd say at most a month before this was when he was asking.
Okay. Okay. All right. You talked about the note that he left. I want to bring this up, and I should say that these text messages that we've been looking at here are Bates number 54. Okay. The notes have been titled 16.3 with a note.
Okay, so the reason, so this is the other thing. Well, let me read this real quick and then I'll tell you. BS that he knows what time he got up. Yeah, I agree. Okay, there's certain parts of this interview that the video gets cut, and it's because they're displaying certain images on the screen that they were wanting to force into the prelim that way. Okay, so a written note, supposedly that is a photo of a written note taken by Lance Twiggs before he burned the note. You know, pictures of the phone so that he had his phone and text messages supposedly and Discord chat and all that between him and his group and his friends and Tyler Robinson. They took pictures of that. They wanted to enter that in. A couple did get in, but some of them didn't. They're not able to verify that Tyler wrote the note. They haven't verified that, you know, Lance could just have anyone saved as Tyler in his phone. It doesn't mean that that is Tyler Robinson that sent that text. Okay. Not to mention the company that pulls the data for the police in the United States is called Celebrite. Let me pull it up. Hold on. It's called Celebrite. Let's see. Where is it? Well, yeah, like here. Let me just show this first. So let me go here. Let me pull it up. All right. So where am I? Nope. I'm right here. Right. I'm not going to read the text, right? They're going to go into it, but it just says Tyler. Okay. It doesn't prove that Tyler sent that. All right. Just says Tyler. This literally could be sent from anybody. Okay. That's it. Tyler with a heart. Oh, we just got to take your word for it that that's Tyler Robinson. Great. Right. How many more were on here? Because then I want to show you something else. Okay. That was the last one. And then this was Tommy Borum was like, look how easy, you know what I mean? Like, obviously this isn't as good as a one that he did. This was just on the spot, but you can just make, especially with AI now, you can just make a chat log up and make it say whatever you want it to say. Here it is. Okay. So you're going to hear them later talk about Celebrite, or is it just Cellbrite? I don't know how to pronounce it. It's either Cellbrite or Celebrite. Is this so? Okay. Did the signal report find the following? And so he asked Grok. Celebrite tools extract data from a physically accessed device. They do not remotely hack phones and generate reports on a Windows machine. 2, Signal demonstrated that specially crafted files placed in an app on the phone could trigger arbitrary code execution on the Celebrite analysis computer when scanned. 3, this could undetectably modify reports, inserting, removing, or changing data, e.g. text, photos, contacts, access to the current report, and even previous future ones from other devices without altering timestamps or triggering check scum failures, right? And then, yeah, Celebrite says requires physical access to extract data and generate reports on a Windows machine. Specially crafted files in an app on the phone could trigger, and then it states it, right? So Celebrite is an Israeli company that it's also they're responsible for breaking over Thomas Crooks's phone. Let's see what else was on this one where it said other people asked about Celebrite. Yeah, the Karen Reed case was used. Expert who testified changing inputs on the Reed case. 42 agents. I don't know if that is 216 threads, one dashboard. Every agent gets its own prompt, tools, skills, and budget. Yeah, it's basically we shouldn't trust any evidence that has been passed through Celebrite.
And this is base number 58. Do you recognize that on the screen there?
Yeah.
What do you recognize it as?
That was the note under his keyboard that he was referring to in the first text of that chain.
Okay, so where did you find this?
On his desk underneath his computer keyboard.
And I assume you read it.
Yeah.
And then what did you do with it after you read it?
I believe I just put it back down on the desk after I took a picture of it.
Okay. And again, the time you read it was probably around 11 o'clock or so on the 10th.
Yes.
The night of September 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because that's a normal thing to do when you're in a relationship with someone is to, and they tell you about a note and then you read the context of the note and then the note says what it said, which we'll get into in a bit. The natural thing is to just take a photo and then put it back. No, that's something that an agent or a Fed would do. Just like I forgot that, and someone mentioned it today. I forgot who it was. Zach mentioned it today that Baron Coleman had did a breakdown on the Turkey Tom videos. And of course, Andrew Colvett and Blake Neff and TPUSA are quoting the Turkey Tom videos this week, trying to say that they proved this guy, took photos from inside Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs' house, took pictures of supposedly Tyler Robinson's journal or sketchings than Lance Twiggs is, because that's normal. That's what a normal 20-something-year-old friend does, is go around their friend's house when they're not in the room with them and they're documenting like evidence. Gay. No, not normal. I think that I think Tyler was surrounded by feds and didn't know it. That's what I think. And let's see, can I pull up? I think I can pull up because I have other photos. Okay, here we go. This is the photo of the note. Oh, come on, bro. Hold on, guys. Hold on one second. I already cleared everything. That wasn't me. I don't know why you did it. I've already cleared all the things on my local drive to clear up space. That's something else. I don't know why I did that, guys. Sorry. Hopefully that'll be the only time it happens tonight. All right. So this is a photo of the note after he took a picture and he put it back. Then he burns it later. Yeah. And then takes. And yeah, now that all exists of the phone of the note. Wait, hold on. I want to make sure I don't have this pulled up yet. Of the note is just that frickin' burned picture, the picture of it being burned. I thought I took a picture of the actual physical note. I think I do, but I'll have to send it to myself. Let me finish playing the interview.
And did you ever see that again after you placed it back on his desk?
No, I don't think I did.
And that was a desk in his bedroom?
Yes.
And that's a separate bedroom than your bedroom?
Yeah.
And now I want to go to what's been titled 16.2. And do you recognize this series of messages here?
Which we don't get to see.
Yeah, that was the server, like his friend that I was mentioning.
Okay, and this is your phone again?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you recognize it because the big crack up at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a server. Is this Discord?
Yeah, this is Discord.
And who are members of this server? I don't want names, just generally, who are these people?
This is his friend group. They played D&D together every week.
Okay. And I just want to scroll through this to make sure that you get a chance to take a look at it. Go to the next page.
Mm-hmm.
All right, while he does that, I found the note. I sent it to myself, and I actually think we're going to be able to read it. I think we're going to be able to see what it says. Let me see if I can read it. It says, if you are reading this, if you're reading this, something my text, I can't see what that one says before my, and then it says, then I, hold on. Then I am so sorry. I left the house this morning on a mission and set an auto text. I am likely dead or facing a lengthy prison sentence. I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I took it. I don't know if I will have succeeded, but I had hoped to make it home to you. I wish we could have lived. And then it cuts off. I don't know. Maybe they play the rest. I didn't see if they showed the rest of it, but we'll get to it.
Yes.
He comes back on in a minute. And this is just them talking about the actual text messages.
Number 11th, what time did you see Tyler on September 11th?
Yes.
When did you first see him on September 11th? So this is the day after the shooting.
Yeah, I saw him when I woke up. Like I said, he was up and around doing a lot of stuff around the house. And then I think I saw him after that message where I said I'll come home and say I'm doing laundry, because I didn't want him going to my parents' house right then when he said there was probably cops outside. So I went back home, and it was just him there, and I said bye to him, and then he drove off. So I just went back to my parents' house.
It's going to go to the next part of the video. Hold on. I don't want to miss anything. It's about to.
So he acted erratically. Was he pacing? Was he just sitting down, relaxing?
No, he was walking around a lot.
Right, and that's within the home.
Mm-hmm.
And did he talk about what he had done?
Didn't go into detail. I just asked him in person if what he said was true the night before, and he said it was. I started crying a little bit and said he wishes he hadn't done it. and then kept going around and just doing stuff, I think, to keep himself busy or distracted or something.
So literally this entire testimony is Lance Twiggs saying that, you know, like he's trying to show that Tyler was guilty, right? That he felt guilty. He had remorse. And, you know, he was anxious. He was nervous. He was distraught. He was pacing, walking around, started crying because, you know, a guy that has never killed anyone before in his life planned this in a matter of weeks and then executed the, you know, assassination of our lifetime and gets away with it, literally, supposedly. This is the Fed story, only to then grow a conscience in less than 24 hours, show remorse, supposedly, feel guilty, and then admit to everything. And we just have to take Lance Twiggs's word for it. Look, if anyone did anything more than just get on campus that day and walk around in the morning, if anyone fits the bill for being the person on the roof, I still don't think, you know, that's where a kill shot came from. But Lance Twiggs definitely fits the description of a psychopathic, you know, murderer based on his own family's, you know, account of him, that he like chased his grandmother around with a knife, that he was erratic, he was unstable, that he was on different hormones on and then off, and how it affected his personality and his psyche. That the note, when you look at the note and you compare it to the pictures of Lance Twiggs's, you know, scribblings that supposedly Turkey Tom was given by a friend, which we think is some sort of agent, the handwriting fits Lance Twiggs. It doesn't. I don't even know if they show a handwriting sample of Tyler Robinson. But if just on comparing it to Lance Twiggs's handwriting, that's who that note looks like authored it.
Did he talk about what he was going to do next?
And then eventually said that he would talk to his parents or turn himself over.
So that part was cut out because it clearly is totally going to destroy Tyler Robinson's chance at a fair trial and his presumption of innocence leading into the other. So here's the other issue with the preliminary hearing and why the defense is fighting so hard for certain pieces of evidence not to be admitted. They haven't selected the jury pool yet. So that means all of the suspected jurors are watching this preliminary hearing. Jurors, once they're selected, get told, once they finally have selected the jury pool or the jurors for the case, for the trial, they get told not to go and do any research of their own. Sorry, I just drank water and it's like not doing what it's supposed to. They get, you know, given directions on how to conduct themselves while they are jurors, right? Don't try to do your own research. Everything, your decision on someone's guilt or innocence in a trial that you're a juror for has to only come from information from inside the courtroom presented by the prosecution or the defense. It can't be from anything you find on your own outside of it. And all the suspected, prospective jurors that will be eventually selected for this case are all watching this, just like all of us. And if the prosecution had their way, they would present all that they want. They would present everything, because we're in Utah. It's a preliminary hearing and they can get it all in. And now this preliminary hearing would do more to taint the jury pool than anything else. That's one of the main reasons why the defense has been objecting all week to the, submission and, publishing of certain pieces of evidence because of that effect, right? It's the same reason why the prosecution tried to read that letter from Englehart, that dude at TPUSA that tried to speak to Tyler Robinson's state of mind leading up to and on the day of the assassination, trying to say like Englehart knows Tyler Robinson's motive. This has been a kangaroo court. And for, TPUSA, Andrew Colvett, Erica Kirk, and all, Brandon Tatum, Graham Allen, all them to get up there and say, the prosecution is for transparency. The defense is not. It is, they know for a fact everything I just said. I don't have legal training. I'm smart, but I don't have legal training. This is just what I know from just being me. That means Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, Graham Allen, Brandon Tatum, Gary Melton, Frank Turek, all of these people that are out there every day accusing the defense of trying to not let facts and evidence and truth get out to the public. They just are lying. They know everything that I just said is true. And they never tell you that side of it, that the defense actually is doing a good job and should be doing what they're doing. Let me go to, where is it? Is this the one with, what's his name? Yes, it is. Let's go here.
To our daily recap episode. It was the fourth day of the preliminary hearing of the state of Utah versus Tyler Robinson, and it was a absolute doozy. I think it was the most jam-packed day so far.
Oh, by a mile. More than the other days combined.
Yeah, there was a lot.
5 times over.
There's a lot.
Way
that
more.
happened.
This is a lot of what we were building to the last few days. I guess on the first day, we saw the footage 4 different times on campus. That was basically a new thing. But other than that, it was a lot of stuff we had seen before, a lot of stuff we knew at least was in the record. This is the first day I feel where we got a very large amount of new information, either images of things that we'd only heard stated existed, or in the case of Lance Twiggs, we got actual testimony from a person we had not heard from before.
Yeah.
We didn't get all of it. There were a lot of redactions. The defense fought very hard to redact even more of it. Thankfully, a lot of that was dialed back by Judge Graff. And so we got a tremendous amount of information, stuff we did not know before.
Yeah.
And we want to dive
right
into it.
So the top lines are,
okay, so remember, they've been telling us this entire time that there's a mountain of evidence that 90% could be thrown out and Tyler would still get convicted. They have been implying and alluding to them because they have access to Erica Kirk, and access being like the victim's representative, right? And her lawyers being in connection with and communication with the prosecution. She even said it herself on the Barry Weiss interview. You heard her herself. She's seen it all. She's seen all the evidence. She would see the autopsy as the widow, but she's seen what the prosecution has, their entire case. And it's a open and shut, slam dunk, concrete, black and white, not who done it. He did it. Case closed, case. They said that they've had access to stuff we haven't had, and that's why they're so sure, and Erica's so sure. We've seen it all this week. There's nothing else. It's everything that we already knew existed that was already included in the documents that we've read, and other things that's been released through any of the hearings that preceded the preliminary hearing. You know, and it's just crazy. Let me read this one real quick. We got Joanne again. Oh, CL, thank you. So how do we get to the truth? This guy is not the Lance we were presented after the assassination of Charlie. Yeah, I don't know. You know, it could be, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't appear to be the same person, in my opinion, but how do we get to the truth? You know, the prosecution is supposed to be doing that, right? The State Bureau of Investigation is supposed to be doing that. They're not doing it. The FBI and ATF, they're all supposed to be getting to the truth. You would think that Erica Kirk, the widow, and her team at TPUSA would want to get to the truth. They don't. So our best chance at the truth is all of us. Candace Owens, Baron Coleman, Zach Costello, me, and all of you, all the mommy sleuths and daddy sleuths and whoever sleuths on the internet digging stuff up, Crystal Smallin and people that are digging themselves, you know. The defense is trying to get to the truth. I think the defense is trying to defend Tyler Robinson, and I think they're doing a good job with what cards they've been dealt. But I think that's our only chance. Yeah, nothing new came out this week. Nothing new. And let me continue to play this, and then I'm going to find the part where I heard, because people were calling me out on X. I posted a thing saying the prosecution said when they called when they were done after they called their last witness, they said we rest our case in chief, right? Meaning for the prelim, not obviously for the trial that hasn't even begun yet. I clearly wasn't stating that that's what they meant. I was clearly stating that today the prosecution finished everything that they were going to present during the preliminary hearing, and they rested their case for the preliminary hearing, meaning they're done. Okay. That means nothing new's coming out. We've seen it all, and it's nothing new. That's my point.
Just to summarize it, and we'll go into depth on these things. We found out that there was DNA recovered from the rifle, the cartridges, and Dremel tool, all positively matched to Tyler Robinson. Okay. Lance Twiggs, referred to as Luna, I believe, by Tyler Robinson, video testimony, and it was devastating, honestly, for the defense. It contains an admission of guilt and much, much more. Timelines established. The defense attorney, what was his name?
Michael Burt, I
Michael
believe.
Burt, who, did you say he
was once a defense attorney far back in the day for the Lyle Menendez. That's the Menendez brothers. Some of you older viewers may remember.
Yeah, they killed their parents. So that's his, people know him from that case.
And
and I'm not condoning. Look, he's attacking this lawyer. They're talking about the lawyer that called out Erica Kirk and saying like he's a bad person. Look, defense lawyers defend people that are guilty, right? But also, if anyone's done any sort of research on the Menendez brothers, you would know that they experienced tremendous, brutal abuse from their dad. I don't know. I can't remember if he was their their real dad or their stepdad, but years and years and years of torment and abuse. I'm not saying it's okay to take the law into your own hands, right? But these guys don't even explain that part of it when they're trying to slander, right, and defame this lawyer as being some sort of evil guy that defended these murderers.
Successfully got a mistrial on the first go-round of that case.
So this guy attacks, a completely inappropriate attack, targeting of the Kirk family for wanting to see the enhanced video of Tyler Robinson on campus. Remember, there was that back and forth.
It wasn't an enhanced video. It was an edited and altered video where they zoom in, where they add circles, they blur other things out, they have arrows added. Clearly, the judge also determined that putting any kind of altered video in any way, shape, or form out as evidence is not going to happen in his court.
In day 2, that bled into day 3, and they wanted to see the enhanced version. And we call it the John Madden style version, where they zoom in, they circle it. They want to see that. And then this Michael Burt guy just starts lobbing a bunch of misrepresentations about the Kirk family, about Erica. We're going to get into that. Jeff Nyman, total hero today, by the way. He successfully argued on behalf of the Kirk family to get the Twiggs video much of it restored, a pretty massive reversal from the original ruling last night. The indication was that a lot of it was going to be redacted, and then the judge went in our direction significantly. So massive developments today. So let's get into it. We have some great clips, and then we've got Graham Allen, who's going to be joining us, and then once again, Andrea Burkhart in the second half of this hour. Where do you want to start, Blake? Which clip?
Oh, man. Let's, I'd say this is the part that stood out to me the most. This, I hadn't seen it before. It provoked quite a reaction. They have Lance Twiggs. He's talking about that Tyler Robinson returned to their shared home after the shooting. In fact, after he'd sent a message basically confessing, but he'd returned home.
It was an automated message, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the automated message saying, go check.
Yes,
right
which then
now.
he said, "Is this real?" And he actually, I don't think we'd seen that before in the transcript. He said, like, I thought I deleted this in all caps. And then they have an extended conversation, which we'd seen a transcript of, but not all of it. There were a few quotes that were new. But anyway, they return and he speaks to him at their home where he confirms that it's real.
Oh, I forgot. I want to play this because let's not forget this, ladies and gentlemen. So as of yesterday,
I feel like I've been dealing with.
Let me make sure it's on the screen. Oh, what up, always? Where you been? What's up with Colvette and his t-shirts all of a sudden? Trying to play it cool, young, relatable. He's ridiculous. Yes, I agree. Good to see you always. All right, let's play this and remember what Andrew Colvette said just yesterday. Somebody tried to say this is AI. It's not. It's just his phone, and he's further away. He wears makeup when he's on set at the studio. It's further away as well. And here he's lifting up his eyebrows, okay? And it creates that wrinkle line there. This is Andrew.
With so many crazy accusations, either leveled at Erica or myself or the organization or whatever, anything except for Tyler Robinson in this process, that I haven't gotten a chance to articulate clearly what questions I still have outstanding that I want answers to. So here we go. Who knew what when? That's right. There is a lot of indication online that other people knew something was going to happen that day on September 10th. They posted on social media about it in really, really creepy ways. And none of those people have been held accountable. And I want to know why and what did they know and when? Another question I want to know the answer to is, was Lance Twiggs more involved than we currently know, right? We know that he's been given limited immunity for his testimony. It's going to be video testimony in the preliminary hearing. But how much did he know? And how much did he radicalize Tyler Robinson?
Today on set, he didn't have any of these questions. He didn't have any questions today. He's doubling down that Lance Twiggs is the star witness. Tyler Robinson is the lone gunman. Tyler Robinson was on campus, on the Losi Center roof, fired the gun. He just attacked the defense for not wanting that video on. So he clearly isn't, he's going to bring up like what everything he did yesterday is just a PR stunt. That's all it is, because, this whole week in the preliminary hearing showed that the prosecution doesn't have jack. They have nothing. Okay. Nothing new, nothing groundbreaking at all. Candace is gone. She's on vacation. They can see the comments. They can see the live chats. They can see what's happening on X. They know that people are watching this trial and going, oh, like there was a lot of people on our side before. This week shifted and brought so many more people to our side. And they know that. And so he's out there trying to do some damage control yesterday. Like, no. I have questions. Okay. You guys have valid questions. I have questions. I just haven't voiced them. I've been quiet. I've had them here, but now I'm going to say them out loud. But then tomorrow I'm going to act as if I had no questions at all. Oh my goodness. Why did it do that?
I feel like I've been dealing with.
Come on. I did not.
What, when? No, and when. Another question that would hang out with them in their apartment seems to indicate that it was a really manic, disassociative, sort of morally corrupt, bankrupt environment that Tyler Robinson was living in, and Lance Twiggs seems to be the source for a lot of that. So did Tyler Robinson just do this crazy thing all on his own, or did Lance Twiggs put him up to it? Was he a co-conspirator? I want to know that, because if it comes out that he was a co-conspirator, I would love to see him held accountable for that and not be granted any immunity whatsoever.
Where does he think that that's going to come out, right? He said this in, in advance of today's hearing where he knew the Lance Twiggs interview was going to come out. Did he really think that Lance was going to like admit to having some sort of greater role in this, right? So he could say this yesterday, and then now today, because he's seen the interview, he could be like, no, I did have those questions, but not now. This interview put all that to rest. Tyler Robinson did it 100% again. I'm back on board.
The question I have is, where did Tyler Robinson go immediately after taking the shot, running off the rooftop, and tossing the gun into the forest? Where did he go? We know that the state has evidence that he was back on campus that night into the wee hours.
Can you guys tell who that is? Why can he get up there and say confidently that that is Tyler Robinson? Because you can't tell who that is at all.
Of September 11th, but where did he go immediately after? That's a big question. One of the questions that is really tough for me is, why were those darn rooftops so accessible? First of all, why set up a building where you can just like go over a railing and get on a rooftop? That's one question. Why were there not cops planted out there? That's another question. And why were there not people spotting those rooftops? Now, you might say, well, gee, Andrew, Turning Point had its own security. Well, guess what? The way you work with campuses is you only get to have immediate vicinity jurisdiction around the person that you're protecting. So I don't know what the exact distance was, but it's essentially like, let's say 30 feet around.
We don't need to play this whole thing. We saw it yesterday. But the bottom line is he has questions now. Where's the one that I was already playing? Is it this one? I'm pretty sure it's this one. Yeah, Graham Allen. There we go.
And he says he admitted it happened, and he says he wished he hadn't done it. Let's play clip 31.
Did he talk about what he had done?
Didn't go into detail. I just asked him in person if what he said was true the night before, and he said it was. I started crying a little bit and said he wishes he hadn't done it, and then kept going around and just doing stuff, I think, to keep himself busy or distracted or something.
Yeah, that's I think of all the clips today, I was in a really weird headspace after watching that, crying, wished he hadn't done it. And the senselessness of this act of evil, just how unnecessary it was, how this kid didn't even feel after doing it like he was convinced that he should have done it. I mean, like,
you could at least
so sociopathic.
It sounds bizarre, but if it had been a truly radical terrorist who said, I did it and I'm glad I did it and I don't regret, it'd be really evil. But you'd at least understand
that he was committed to
he was committed to it. And instead you get this feeling that this was almost a fleeting obsession, a whim, and he immediately regretted it after he did it, either because he realized it was evil, we can hope, or just because he realized he'd thrown his life away.
We do have Graham Allen on the phone. Court got out a little bit later today, so we weren't able to rush him over in front of a Zoom. Graham, welcome.
We're going to get to Graham. Hold on. Let me read this. I just saw Jessica just popped up. What up, Jessica? Good to see you. Thank you so much for your super chat. TPUSA promises Tyler's parents this week another lie and let down the Republican Party. Yes. Trump supported their narrative, so it's on the entire party. Yeah, I agree. And so did Don Jr., right? And Don Jr. was there today, yesterday, saying that, and Zach pointed this out, we had talked about it, and I was like, them and Brandon Tatum and Graham Allen, they're going to do it as well. Acting like being there in person was any different from what we saw. No, the only thing they got to see that we didn't get to see is how Erica Kirk and those in the audience behaved, right? That's it. Anything related to the case, we all saw the same stuff. It's not like when they, broke or went on break. They tricked us and they're like, no, now we're going to show you the real evidence that no one else gets to see. And then showed him, no, it's so dumb. It's so ridiculous. Always be true. He wished he didn't do it. Yeah. What exactly? Yeah. Be friends with Lance Twiggs. Move into that house where his life was forever changed in the worst possible way. If he only would never have met Lance, his life might be different today.
Great to have you by phone. We just played the clip of that video recording from Lance Twiggs talking about him crying, wished he hadn't done it. For me, I'm never going to forget the first time I heard that recording. It's going to leave an impression for me the rest of my life. What was it like in the courtroom?
Yeah, so the courtroom today, completely different vibe and feel than it was yesterday. Yesterday was a very frustrating day. It was only a half day, and the defense did a really good job yesterday of just kind of dragging it out to where nothing really got done. Obviously, over this Lance Twiggs video, what we did see, I heard the clip play. Yeah, that was a really bombshell clip there. I said it in my recap on my show this morning. The defense is obviously scared to death of this 37 minute video of Lance Twiggs, which is why they fought so hard to get so much of it to where even us in the courtroom, we couldn't see it. The defense was getting their head beat in all day. I mean, if I can just be honest about it, this was evidence after evidence after evidence after evidence. And you really felt that with the defense. This Michael Burt guy coming out of nowhere and attacking the victim, Erica. So look at this. Look, I realize that this is America, and I realize that we are innocent until proven guilty in this country. I get that. But one person in this whole thing, there is no question about innocent or guilt. And that's the fact that Charlie Kirk was brutally murdered and his widow is in the courtroom. This Michael Burt lawyer guy, because the defense is getting their head kicked in during this case, loses his composure and he throws direct attacks at the widow of Charlie Kirk. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I don't know what I would have done. I mean, you should have seen our text chain. I'm not proud to admit some of the words that I used in it when I saw that happen, and the fact that it came after the widow.
It took everything.
I literally can't imagine. I thought it was so out of line. I thought it was so just egregious that he did that. And we're going to play the clip because, we're talking about it. SOT 29.
We're asking the court to keep focus on the purpose of this hearing. And as the justices said in the Estes case, the purpose of a trial is to determine.
And we heard it. I already played it for you guys.
Mr. Burt, you just, I mean, what a flurry of lies. First of all, where's the press conferences, Mr. Burt? What the hell are you even talking about, actually? And I mean, Graham, please weigh in here because
What? You mean this that we just watched her say?
Medal of Freedom, my engagement ring.
But apparently they symbolize some kind of
Where is
secret
it?
plot.
Where she goes.
There's also Egyptian do you believe that Tyler Robinson murdered your husband?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think it is so hard for so many people to believe that reality?
Because it's too simple.
Really?
Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. I've seen the autopsy report. I've seen our case pulled together. I've been in constant contact with our lawyers, the prosecuting team. I've seen it all. And let me tell you this. Why in the world, why should we prior to the trial, lay all of our hands and cards on the table for the defense team to see, to somehow then I don't even know what they would do with it. But what I will say, and I want to get on the Egyptian plane thing, we'll take a flight on that for a second. What I will say is what I'm worried about, and I'm
Fascinated. Look at that. She's fascinated, ladies and gentlemen. Fascinated. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. And that's just one clip. There's more, Andrew Colvett. What is Bert talking about? Erica Kirk going out there saying that we, meaning her lawyer and the prosecution, as she has seen it all. They have all the evidence, and it's a lock solid case, and Tyler did it, and she's seen it, and that's how she's so confident. And that's just one example. She's gone out time and time again saying the same thing. Goodness gracious. What up, hey you? Even if, big if Tyler did it, that doesn't mean he acted alone, right? Or that he wasn't MK ultrafied. Just like with Sirhan Sirhan and Bobby Kennedy. Yes. You know, Bobby Kennedy actually, like, I think was fighting for his release. Like, Bobby doesn't believe that Sirhan did it, right? No one with a brain that knows anything about that assassination thinks that Sirhan did it. He doesn't even remember. I don't even think he fired a gun, or if he did, it definitely didn't even hit Bobby. It was, he like woke up. He like became conscious, like in the hotel. You know, he was like, whoa, like what the heck? I have a gun. And then he gets tackled, you know? Yeah. Just because doesn't mean Tyler even did it.
So much of that was pure, just unadulterated misrepresentations of the facts.
Nope. Just showed you.
Well, yeah. Well, 100%. And I love that the Kirk family attorney, Jeff, went up immediately after to set the record straight that everything that he said was a lie, that the state is not Erica Kirk's attorneys. They are the attorneys for the state.
She literally just said it, you freaking moron. We literally just played it. Holy smokes. Like, where is it? Hold on.
lay all of our hands and cards on the table for the defense team to see, to somehow then, I don't even know what they would do. I've seen our case pulled together. I've been in constant contact with our lawyers, the prosecuting team. I've seen it all. And let me tell you this, why in the world, why should we, prior to the trial, lay all of our hands and cards on the table for the defense team to see, to somehow then, I don't even know what they would do with it. But what I do.
Yeah. Okay.
The state versus Tyler Robinson. And look, they give us a whole speech every time we go in there about the decorum and how we in the audience are not allowed to make faces. We're not allowed to say anything. We're not allowed to do anything. And then for this attorney to come out there and take multiple personal shots, it seems like he's kind of drinking his own Kool-Aid there. And I was shocked that the judge didn't say anything during that moment. I'm not saying that the judge didn't rule correctly in a lot of ways.
The judge has seen Erica Kirk, you freaking idiot, just like all of us. Like I said, that Barry Weiss clip is just one example. She has time and time again come out and done that over and over again. She did it with Candace Owens. But then when Candace Owens calls her on it, like, what have you seen that we haven't seen? And then she's like, oh, nothing. I have my lawyers, but I'm not part of the prosecution. Like, I've seen what you guys have seen. Okay. Why would Candace ask that? Well, she asked that because of videos like that. She asked that because of appearances of Erica Kirk going out there implying and saying that she's seen it all, and that, like, we, using language like we and us and ours, is implying and inferring that she is part of the prosecution and has seen it all. You can't even make this up. Best part was Judge's face talking to EK's lawyer. I know. I played it. I don't know if you were here when I played that part. If we need to play it again, we can.
Today, we had a lot of wins, but in that moment, I really feel like that attorney stepped over the line in badgering the widow of the victim. Like she is the victim because the victim is no longer here.
Well, Erica is the victim in this. Yeah, exactly.
Correct. Exactly. And here's the other thing that I will say about this that I can testify to that I don't know if the cameras pick up or not. I don't know what, the public sees. We were in the back this time around. So the front two rows alternate between families. So Tyler Robinson's family was in the front row today. And what I will say is this, they were distraught through the entire thing. And it wasn't a distraught like, I can't believe this unfair thing is happening. It was more, in my opinion, we cannot believe that our son did this, or our.
Did we lose him?
Good. Yeah, I think they cut it because whoever's listening realizes that what Graham is doing is disgusting. There's actual videos out there right now, you guys, of people saying, like, showing clips of Tyler Robinson from inside the court, which they're not supposed to do. And saying like he was, gloating, he was laughing, he is a psychopathic, cold-blooded murderer that doesn't take this seriously, has no remorse. Exactly why the defense didn't want cameras, right? Because of people. And then, of course, TPUSA knows that and was able to get people of their own because, like, how else did Brandon Tatum, Jack Posobiec, and Graham Allen get to go in the courthouse? They were given seats. Unlike the rest of us, lowly, serfs, had people that were there had to wait in line from like the night before to possibly get a seat on one of the days. Well, they had front row seats, these TPUSA shills and Israel shills, so they could come out here each day and tell you things like that they've seen evidence that we haven't seen, imply that it's an open and shut case, say that, they were watching Tyler's parents and his parents were so distraught because the evidence now is so overwhelming and they clearly feel like, oh my gosh, I can't believe my son did it. No. If anything at all, the parents finally get to see because as the parents, like, they're only going to get to see what the defense has been given from the prosecution up to the point of the prelim. And we know that the prosecution was holding back evidence. They didn't get evidence. The defense got evidence as of June 18th. And then there was more between June 18th and then the prelim that they weren't given. But by the end of the hearing tomorrow, they'll have more. And so Tyler Robinson's parents were probably watching a lot of this for the first time. Well, yeah, because I don't think that the defense could actually even play the videos and stuff for Tyler's parents. He's an adult. They represent him. He's an individual. He's an adult. But so they probably were told of some of this, probably through Tyler, but that they saw it for the first time, like the playing of the Lance Twiggs interview and some of the other things that came out this week that like the videos that the prosecution was saying was like, oh, for sure. Look at it's Tyler. And we're like, Sasquatch, hairy Sasquatch, blurry Sasquatch, small little ant-like Sasquatch. You can't tell a freaking thing from those. And Tyler's parents were probably like, oh, yeah. Yep. They're framing my son. Yep. Remember, the grandfather was like, and this is the other thing that came out today. We'll show you the photo of the rifle in a minute. Not Grandpappy's rifle. I don't know whose rifle it is. And it doesn't even match the original photo that they showed all of us back in September and October. It's not even that same rifle. It's a totally different rifle. It's freaking nuts.
To be listening for a sec. We're
Father
working.
was.
Oh, there he is. We got you back, Graham.
Sorry, I'm traveling down the road. I was just saying that, Tyler Robinson's family was in the front and they were distraught throughout the whole process. And it wasn't a distraught like this is egregious. It was a distraught like we can't believe that our son or our family member did this. And so that was something that.
How could Graham even know that? How could Graham get up there and honestly say that he can tell the difference between Tyler Robinson's parents' distraught face, not distraught that they're, mad that their son's being framed? No, he's able to distinguish that it's distraught because they finally realize their son is guilty. What the actual heck? And they want us to trust them when they say other things. They want us to believe that they're impartial. And remember, come to us this week for the facts. The facts. We're going to tell you the facts. We're not going to do what Candace and Barron and everyone else is doing. We're going to bring the truth. Today, the truth is, I can tell the difference between Tyler Robinson's parents' facial expressions. I can tell you what they were thinking inside their heads. Just like freaking Englehart can tell you Tyler Robinson's intent when he woke up that morning. Freaking ridiculous.
Was really telling to me personally in the audience.
Well, I want to ask about that, Graham. At some point while the Lance Twiggs video was playing, it did sound like you could hear a sob somewhere. I think it was actually quite close to the point where he says, where Lance was narrating, he wished he hadn't done this. It was in the vicinity of that. Did you notice that in the court? Was that happening? And do you know what quarter it was coming from?
Well, it may have come from both sides. Erica and Charlie's mom were pretty emotional during that moment as well. So honestly, my attention kind of got drawn towards them in that moment. So it could have gone both ways. There was a lot of emotion in the courtroom on.
So short answer, no. Tyler's parents weren't crying because they don't believe that Tyler did it. And seeing the Lance Twiggs interview video didn't do anything to make them feel that their son did it. It made them realize more than ever that their son's being framed and that Lance Twiggs is helping frame him. But we also now hear that Erica Kirk was crying during the Lance Twiggs video interview. I mean, I could believe that like Charlie's mom was crying, probably being there this whole time. Hearing his name, it's going to make pictures of him in her head. And then now she has to envision. Excuse me, I took another sip of water. I'm really thirsty. I don't know why it's making me burp. It's just water. It's not soda. Has to envision that while Charlie was on his way to campus, thinking it was going to be another amazing day debating college students, and that he was going to get to go home after, when she's watching Lance Twiggs retell the timeline, that supposedly Tyler was planning the murder of Charlie Kirk. Yeah, I could see why that would make, Charlie's mom cry. But Erica Kirk knows that it's not Tyler Robinson. In my opinion, Erica Kirk knows it's not him, because Erica Kirk in October and November was saying that she was already positive of Tyler's guilt and that she had seen all the evidence, which no, she hadn't. She's not part of the prosecution. And we've seen the evidence now, and it's so underwhelming. It's not convincing that Tyler did anything. It's convincing that he was framed. So why would Erica be crying? She wouldn't. She's faking, and she was acting. She's a freaking crisis actor, and the worst one we've seen in decades. And then she nudges her lawyer, get up there and make sure when you argue, do a little, I got the black lung pop.
From both families today.
We're going to play Jeff Nyman's retort back to Mr. Michael Burt's egregious commentary.
And let's look at the judge's
and that's
face.
what it was. I mean, he was pontificating. I mean, I think at some point he got the judge interjected with when he was I guess cross-examining or examining questioning the witness from the ATF, and said you're argumentative, and I was like, well, we could have used that a little while ago.
Oh my gosh, I knew he was going to say that. Okay, there was one part where Bert phrased a question that was argumentative. It was sustained by the judge. The prosecution objected, said argumentative, judge sustained it, and then Bert rephrased it. But rightfully, because the lady up there was lying and acting like that this ballistic evidence that she is testifying to wasn't suspect, when he's quoting studies that people within this field are saying the process and analysis that she used is not a good one and doesn't conclusively, actually give you facts and results that could be believed, and that they're interpreting and making conclusions on a bogus process. And so he was pissed. Bert, at least, and that's what I think. You see it from Novak yesterday when they tried to enter in the stupid Engelhart letter. Novak was pissed. You've seen Catherine Nestor get pissed. And today we saw Bert get pissed because the prosecution is the one playing games. The prosecution on behalf of the state of Utah and Erica Kirk and TPUSA is corrupt and lying and literally framing someone, at least in my opinion, that is 100% innocent of firing any gun that day on the Losi Center at all. Rightfully pissed.
Anyways, this is a bit longer clip, Graham. Bear with me. It's a minute and a half long, but this is Jeff Nyman, 34.
Watch the judge's face.
Briefly, and I say that because time is of the essence, not because I don't want to hear what you have to say.
I understand, but there was a lot that was just said that's just not true.
Well, so let me put this in the spot where we need to be. I understand that there's opinions, but I have to keep this to the probable cause. I don't want this to go to a back and forth about issues that lie outside of probable cause. And I realize statements are made, and as the victim's representative attorney, you want to address it. So I will hear you, but we need to be brief. So if you can be succinct, I definitely want to hear what you have to say.
Your Honor, I am almost always brief, I promise you.
No.
The family has not seen this video. It hasn't. It doesn't have access to the evidence the state has. The state is the state, and Ms. Kirk and the family have their representatives. There's a completely distortion of reality that was just put forth. And this isn't about educating anybody about anything. This is about allowing the family to see the evidence that's been gathered after a 10-month investigation in which a father, a husband was assassinated.
He says it like he's getting choked up about it. He's lying about whether or not Erica Kirk ever said and did anything that the defense just argued she did. We just played one clip of it. There's dozens more.
That's what this is about. So we ask you to please allow the family to view the video like the court has viewed in order to allow the family to process.
He's not amused. Look at the judge's face. I'm not amused, bro. Not amused.
This moment.
Thank you.
And I think I found the clip where the prosecution does say they rest their case.
All right. May this witness be excused. All right, Sergeant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Turning to the state.
Your Honor, I just want to confirm with the clerk.
Yeah, let's make sure. Thank you, Mr. Gernander. Appreciate creating a good record.
Judge, if I could just confirm with the court that all of the exhibits we have offered have been admitted into evidence.
All right, so here's what I have, and my court clerk will certainly correct me if I'm wrong. I have State's Exhibit 1, 2, 3, 3.1, 3.2, 4, 5, 5.16, 6.17, 7.18, 8.19, 10, 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 11, 12.1, 12.2, 12.3, and I believe 12.4, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16.1, 16.2, 16.3, 16.4, 17 and 18 are blank, so no.
That is correct.
All right.
We're not offering 17 and 18.
All right. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. The following are blank: 26, 27, 28, 29.
That's accurate. We're not offering on those numbers.
I have 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35, which have been admitted into evidence.
That is all that I have record of.
All right.
Can I-
Does that comport?
Yes. Can we also go over the ones that look like
I mean, we certainly can. Yes. Would you like to put on the record what were published and what were not published?
No, that's okay, Judge.
Okay, we're good. And then, all right.
Can I have just a moment?
Yes.
It's coming. Hold on. Hold on.
Your Honor, the state rests its case in chief.
What's that? What's that, everyone on X that said I'm stupid? Did the prosecution just say that they rest their case in chief for the preliminary hearing, which is what I said? Everyone that's a freaking moron. You heard it from him. Okay. So my point in saying that was simply that they're done. As of that moment, when Grunander said that statement, the preliminary hearing for the prosecution and all their evidence is done. They just listed everything that they admitted, all the exhibits, and Grunander says the prosecution rests their case in chief for the preliminary hearing. Meaning, that's it, you guys. We've seen it all. That's all the evidence. That's what the judge is going to have to consider in whether or not this goes to trial. I think, unfortunately, it's going to go to trial. But, yeah. So that's that. Freaking people, dude. All right. Let me skip past this and go back to where. Okay. Let me make sure it's on the screen. Nope. That's my face.
Thank you.
Anything further before the court issues its ruling and we go from there?
Yeah, good for Jeff. By the way, I mean that
it was funny. The judge was like, I must implore you to be quick," and he goes on, I think, longer than Jeff did.
Yeah, I know exactly.
There's a lot of that in this case.
Well, let's move on. I guess the judge is going to make a final determination about that tomorrow, whether or not the family can see the John Madden style video that we're talking about, the enhanced zoom in with lines and circles and that sort of thing. Let's talk.
Well, he did grant it. He did grant it.
Oh, did he grant it?
And so he did. And
okay.
So it was contingent upon, they did this back and forth about, oral arguments for binding and whatnot. And it looks like what's going to happen is it's going to end at noon, like the defense had originally stated. Then we're going to get all to this, briefings that they want to do. So it sounds like we are going to get to, or the courtroom and the family is going to get to view that video. I don't think that the media gets to, but the family in the courtroom does. So he did grant that at the end there.
All right. Let's get back to this Lance Twiggs stuff here, Graham. I think this was, to me, the most important stuff. This is Robinson leaving the apartment early on September 10th. Clip 8.
Let's jump to September 10th. Did he spend the night in the apartment the night of September 9th into September 10th?
Yeah, he did.
We already watched this part. Let me jump to.
All right. So he confirms that he left super early.
He left very early, around 4. You can do the math. If it's between 4 and 5, you do the math. He got there, I want to say, late in the 8 o'clock hour, around 9 is when he arrives on campus. You can go check it. It's about 3 hours and 45 minutes from St. George to Orem, and maybe stops for gas, stops for breakfast, something like that.
And then of course we saw previously in the other days the compilation video of him on campus, and then he's asked about still images taken from surveillance video, and I thought this was a really powerful part, Graham, where you hear Twiggs say that looks like Tyler. He identifies him, recognizes the person in the images. SOP 17.
Right. Okay, before he came home, had you seen the press releases, any of the media on this?
I'd seen one Instagram link a friend of mine had sent in our group chat.
All right.
But I hadn't really looked into it at all.
All right. We already played the Lance Twiggs. I'm not going to replay them replaying that. Let me get rid of some of the stuff I have up here so I can clear where I'm at. I don't know if you guys saw this. Let me pull this up. Why I can't. I have to share it first and then hit expand. This was a video of Tyler Robinson's family coming into court this morning. I don't know why it's skipping like that. That's weird. It didn't do that before. All right. It was a totally fine video before. I don't know why it's doing it now. All right. I'm not going to keep playing it if it keeps skipping like that. It's scratching in my ear. But yeah, I feel bad for Tyler Robinson's family and parents, you know, not to mention they had to sit through this whole week. And in my opinion, everything that freaking Andrew Colvett and Graham Allen just said is a complete lie and a misrepresentation of the truth, saying that Graham was able to tell that Tyler Robinson's parents now know for a fact that he's guilty. When we all saw this happen this whole week, this whole trial, and we were like, no, we're positive that Tyler's been framed. You know what I mean? That's what I'm positive of more than anything else. So let me go to the part where it's just freaking Tweedledee and Tweedledum talking. Oh, wrong one.
By the internets that and the social medias that none of these videos from the surveillance cameras on campus determined that it was actually Tyler Robinson on campus. I've been credibly informed, Graham.
Yeah, well, if you listen to the crazies on the internet, they will say that every piece of evidence that the state has introduced has made the state look worse, and that's what we're dealing with right here. Look, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. What we saw from the defense today is, look, that's what happened in the parts that were allowed to be seen. I can't imagine what Lance Twiggs says, reveals in the unredacted part that the court did submit into evidence and will be seen. Everything has lined up to Tyler Robinson. The time frame, Blake, I just heard you talking about it. Leaving super early, you do the math, boom, he's right there on the UVU campus video.
We know that he was there in the morning. This is what's so insane to me, because these guys, I mean, yes, we know they're stupid, right? But like, okay, they're not that stupid. They know what they're doing. Like, we know at least for me, the one time I think Tyler might have been on campus is the 8:30 a.m. and the 10 a.m. one in the purple maroon or the maroon shirt, hat, and shorts and his Converse. That one is the closest to being a pretty clearer image of maybe Tyler Robinson. But that doesn't put him on campus in the Eagle Boy outfit, the long pants, the long black sleeve shirt with the eagle and the flag and the hat and the glasses, the backpack and the limp. That doesn't put Tyler Robinson on campus walking up the stairs and onto the Losi Center roof at 12:23. It doesn't put Tyler running out and laying down and firing. You cannot tell me who that is. No one that's honest can. And that's what's insane. He knows that just because, and here's the other thing. I don't think we can believe anything that Lance Twiggs says. I bet that there's some truth weaved in there. That's one of the best types of ways to lie and to do a psyop is you weave truth in with the lies, and you know and it gets accepted as all truth. Okay, Tyler woke up that morning early and left. Okay, does Lance actually know where he went? No. Okay, so Tyler got up and left the house early. Now we have to believe that the security cam footage that the prosecution shows us of that person in the maroon shirt is Tyler Robinson. Did they prove that it is Tyler Robinson? Not in my opinion. They have a similar car. Other people have that car. They have a guy in a maroon shirt and a hat and Chuck Taylors and shorts. Other people were wearing that exact same outfit that day, or at least similar. Okay. But even the video and the photos that they show us of that person they say is Tyler in the morning, it's not really definitive. But even if it is, it doesn't put him on the roof at the time of the assassination. So, like, no, Lance Twiggs's testimony didn't prove that Tyler was there and killed Charlie Kirk. And the text messages and the Discord chats, we don't know. Like, all of that got pulled out by Celebrite Israel, which can, okay, did you know that also, is it Taka, Toka? Okay, all of the technology used, right? The cell phone technology, the Celebrite, and then Israel has other technology where they can, in real time, access surveillance CCTV video footage feeds, and in real time, add things, take things out, change things, cut out frames without anybody knowing. Even if the FBI and ATF were to do some sort of like cyber or like computer forensic analysis of the footage, they wouldn't even be able to tell. That's how good the technology is that Israel has. Okay. So even the footage that we see as we see it, there's so much that could be wrong with it, and we would have no idea. Okay. But let's say that they didn't even verify who sent the text messages. It just says Tyler's name on it. And they took a picture of it. Great. I forget who it was. Someone did a breakdown of the Discord chat and proved that those were fabricated and not real because of the way it's laid out. Like, you can tell certain things about like the Discord chats. I'm not an expert on that, but someone else did and believes that they proved that they were fabricated. The letter, we don't know who wrote the letter, right? That Lance Twiggs came home and took a photo and then burns. We don't have it now. Oh, we just got to take their word for it. Freaking insane, dude. Let me get to this super and then let me pull up something. Always be true. They lie. We know that they lie. They know that we know that they lie. Have you guys know in Friends, when Chandler and Monica when they come back from London and they're sneaking around in their relationship, and then Joey finds out, and then one by one more people find out, but they don't know that they know. And then Rachel and Phoebe are like, they don't know that we know. And then it goes on, and then they're like, they don't know that we know that they know that we know. That's, like, they lie. We know they lie. They know that we know they lie. And yet they keep lying. Oh my goodness. Let me pull something up. Let me back out of that here. All right. So these are some of the photos from the trial today. This is the supposed casing, shell casing from the round that supposedly killed Charlie Kirk. Okay. It's the only one that was fired. Okay. And this is that supposed casing because it was a bolt action rifle. It maintained this empty shell in the chamber, supposedly after the shot was fired. And here it is. All right. I don't believe this is a round. I don't believe this is a casing that was fired at Charlie Kirk. That rifle could have been fired anywhere else at any other time and then just left in the chamber. And then they planted it on the scene that night. Okay. These are other ones that were supposedly similar or identical to the ones found in. Oh, wait. I don't know if I can actually. Oh, hold on. Whoops. I forgot it's alive. Dang it. I don't know why I did that. Hopefully YouTube doesn't do anything. Okay, it was covered. Hopefully I got it off the screen fast enough. I might have to edit it after the fact. Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know that it would even flag it because it's not like showing a like actual live weapon being fired. Well, then how would the news? What? Well, then no, because the trial showed it. They showed it, right? These are just photos from the trial. I don't know. I just don't want to risk it. What I wanted to show is Crystal Small in here? I can't see if she's here. Yeah, what up, Crystal? I wanted to show the posts you did of the side-by-side of the supposed rifle that they showed back in September in the box, and then compare it to the one that they showed today in court. And when you put them side by side, they're not the same rifle. Okay. So the one that they showed back in September, and I guess I can just explain it, the bolt action part where that you cock it back, you put the, and you cock it forward, the bolt action is on the right-hand side. Okay. The one that they showed today, the bolt action is on the left-hand side. Okay. And there's other differences about those two that you can see when they're side by side. They don't even appear to be the same gun. That's not even the biggest issue. The biggest issue is that they said that it was an authentic 1940 Mauser 98, from during World War II, right? When we look that up and you show what those look like, you can tell they're like originals, right? It was supposed to be like an heirloom handed down from his grandfather to him. They're wooden, right? They're brown, they're wooden. This is a modern version of that with composite materials on the buttstock, and it's a modern hunting rifle. This image. Supposedly, remember, parents saw and grandparents saw that image and were like, "Oh my gosh, that's Grandpappy's rifle." That they supposedly identified that's how they knew Tyler was guilty, because how else would the feds get Grandpappy's rifle, and that this was the one that they found in the woods? It's not even an authentic 1940 Mauser. And I don't know. I don't know. I didn't see the defense cross-examine the gentleman that, or I'd have to go back, not right now, but it was like 8 hours. There was a lot today, and I was also trying to find what was TPUSA saying and everyone else to try to find enough to cover tonight. I don't remember if the defense cross-examined significantly that Samoan lady is when the prosecution had her on the stand, is when they showed those images. If they even pointed out, or if they're even allowed to point out, that might not even be Grandpappy's rifle. And remember, Grandpappy did an interview with someone, I forget who it was, and was like, he doesn't even believe Tyler did any of this, right? And then he goes on to say that he has experience. I think he was a former police officer. He's like, he's seen the video of Charlie Kirk get assassinated, and he's like, that's not a 30-06 bullet wound, But there was other ones I wanted to show that weren't the rifle. But let's see. I don't know. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can pull one up that's bigger. This is the supposed round that they removed from Charlie Kirk. This is just the other side of this. So this is the one large fragment, and then these are smaller fragments that they couldn't really test. But this is the supposed round that entered Charlie's neck, supposedly. and then, disintegrated once it hit Charlie's spine, which if you know anything about the force of a 30-06, the size of the round, the power of the round, it's not going to be deflected by a spine, a human being's spine. Okay, that's not even our strongest bone in our body. It's not our biggest bone in our body. It's not our thickest bone in our body. It's a bunch of little bones. Okay, and this is one of the smallest parts of our body itself. And the esophagus takes up a good part of it, which is just empty space. We've seen this bullet go through like 5 steel plates, cinder blocks. We've seen it go through cow femur, pig femur. It goes through everything, and it just keeps going. And we're supposed to believe the story but this bullet went in, hit Charlie's spine. Well, first went in, went up, hit Charlie's spine, and then crashed down through, I don't know how many vertebrae. So it was the C2 down to the T1. Nah, it just, physics doesn't work that way. Just these people. All right. I'm too nervous to share the other photos. I don't know if YouTube's going to ding me on it, so I don't want to do that. Let me share some of the other stuff I had for you guys. Okay, no jump scare. Okay, we got a Dana Loesch clip. Let me make sure I have it at the right part. Is it this one? No, that's Megan Kelly. Let's see. This one, yeah. Okay, start. I think this one I start at the beginning. All right. Sorry, I just want to make sure I got my right starting point. Oh, wait, I still haven't showed it yet. Sorry. There we go. Let me back this up. All right.
Jack Lorraine's got the ongoing series looking at the days of this preliminary hearing in the Kirk murder case and the legal fight that they're having over admissibility with some of the stuff in the prelim, like the amount of a video that's shown. Is the video going to be shown to the rest of the country, or is it just going to be for the people in the courtroom? And will the people at large around the country be able to hear audio? It's like stuff like that they're kind of going over. And of course, the evidentiary standard, you have probable cause, and then you have beyond reasonable doubt. It's lower for a preliminary hearing. When you go to trial, that evidentiary standard increases. One of the big things that has been really, really debated, and I don't really consider it a debate. It's basically an argument between people who know about firearms and FUDs. I don't know how else to put it. Actual Elmer FUDs. People who have no idea about difference in caliber, about grain difference. They don't know what FMJ means. They don't know any of this stuff.
Full Metal Jacket. It's really not that big of a, secret, Dana. You're not an expert either. Have you looked in the mirror? Do you know what you've done with your whole life? You're not a ballistic expert either, dude. You've had people on, you've heard people talk, you've watched other people say what they know from their experience, but you don't. So what makes you some sort of expert on anything, Dana, except for being a freaking evil, disgusting, ugly witch?
And I am watching these people with more zeal than knowledge talk to people who are lifelong hunters, people who are veterans, people who actually have a working knowledge of firearms, and try to tell them there's no way a 30-06 could have done what it did, because that was one of the big things that was really put to bed.
You should go ask Gary Melton. He said it himself early on before he got bought out, in my opinion. He said there's no way a 30-06 made that kind of entry wound, had no exit wound. The only way he figured it could have is if it deflected first off of a vest, lost a tremendous amount of energy and force, and then was redirected up into the neck. That's the only way he made sense of it. And there's actually dozens and dozens and dozens. We have Mike Ritland, Mike Glover. We have an SAS Special Forces, British Special Forces sniper that said it had to be the mic. There's no way. And he shot a 30-06 and he shot someone from that exact distance with the 30-06, and he was looking through the scope and saw exactly what it did, and it didn't do what we saw happen to Charlie Kirk that day. Okay, real honest people with experience in this area that aren't jaded or bought out by TPUSA all conclude the same thing. That's not a 30-06 wound. That's not what a 30-06 would do. No way would a 30-06 not come out the other side. And then they reference Martin Luther King. You should go look up how bad the 30-06 round ravaged Martin Luther King's face, jaw, neck, and then it went vertically down. And that's why going straight into the torso, it got lodged in the torso. Going through the neck in that trajectory, it should have just gone straight through. Nothing big enough to deflect it and to slow it down like the round that came into Martin Luther King's body, which bounced around a lot, redirected a lot, came out, came in, and then had lost a lot of energy by the time it lodged in his torso. Not a comparison, not the same thing, Dana Leash.
In this preliminary hearing, because it was, what were they saying? That I think one of the arguments that Gal Sharpton and some of these other woke Rikers were saying is that it wasn't, at first, it wasn't a 30-06. It would have taken.
Does she realize that she's 50 or plus, right? She thinks she's so funny coming up with these like slang words like Gal Sharpton and Roke Rikers. Like, go look in the mirror, Dana. Just be an adult. I know it's hard. It goes against every fiber of your body, but just get up there and try to be an adult. It's so gross watching you be you.
Taken off Kirk's head. And then it was an exploding microphone. And I happened to see this huge debate, and it was very well done, that busted out between Matt Tardio, who is a podcast host, a veteran. You can find him at Speak the Truth, at Speak the Truth Actual, and he's also on X. And
isn't that interesting? Because Matt Tardio is doing everything but speak the truth. Okay, just like Gary could be bought out, and I forgot who it was. It might have been Sean Ryan. It might have been someone else that was also a special forces guy that was like, just because people have prior service military experience or they were in some sort of special forces unit doesn't mean that they're honest. Okay. Doesn't mean that they don't lie. Doesn't mean that they won't be bought out. Doesn't mean that they don't have a price to sell out. There's good people in every group, and then there's bad ones. Go watch Gary. Walking proof. Okay. She wants to say that just because someone is, prior service military member, that they wouldn't lie, that they wouldn't distort, that they couldn't be bribed or bought out or blackmailed or threatened to say or do a certain thing. That's so ignorant and naive and short-sighted. Okay. There's good people in all the groups, and just like there's bad people in all the groups. It just so happens all the people on their side all have one thing in common. They're evil. They all have a price. Okay, multiple things in common. They all have a price to which they will lie and take part in this psyop and propaganda. Okay. They've made a whole career off of it, and it's very interesting that they all have something else in common. They loathe Candace and Tucker. They loathe Candace and Tucker. And
he was breaking down this stuff. And I still don't think that these people understand they just went right over their heads. Matt Tardio joins us now via video, and it's good to have you. Matt, first off, thank you so much for your service to our country and also educating these people, particularly the FUDs that are like, well, no, I saw a comment from someone saying that a 30-06 could actually take an elephant's head off. I'm not kidding you. They deleted the comment, but they said it could have taken an elephant's head off. And that's proof that it was not used to assassinate Charlie Kirk. I just got to get your initial thoughts on some of this stuff, because I think you had it, you were fed up, and you took it to task.
Yeah. No, his whole task is trying to debunk John Bray, and he hasn't done it. Okay. Talking about Charlie Kirk. Okay, let me read this. 122. Let me see. Because I think we skipped this part. Yeah, 122 it starts. Let's hear it. Let's hear this idiot. Let's do it. Let's take it there. Let's go there. Watch out. Incoming, closeted homosexual wearing a $1,300 Gucci jacket. Okay. I warned you. There he is.
Utah began, she posted something else. Quote, "One more fight, Charlie," she wrote. "I don't fear these demons. We will win." Candace has cast herself as the warrior, the one with spiritual insight, the one with strength who perceives the demons that the rest of us are too asleep or too compromised to see, and who's picked up Charlie's sword.
No, you have the demons in you, freaking idiot. That's what it is. You can't perceive what you are. You are the demon.
To go to war with those demons on his behalf. So, okay, she wants to talk about demons. That's fine. There is something truly demonic about this entire affair. But the demonic force here isn't Erica Kirk, a widow now raising 2 children without their father. And it isn't Charlie's closest friends either, the men and women who stood beside him in life and now stand beside his family in the wake of his death. And of course, it's not the organization that Charlie bled to build or the mission that he poured his life into. That's missions now straining by.
Did I miss it? Did I not go back far enough? Oh, 122.16. It's way down here. My bad. Okay, 122.16. We'll start right there. Here we go. This is where it is. My bad.
You're not allowed to apply logic, though.
No.
So, like the entire question of, would a government do it or would the Israelis have done it? You were a professional sniper. If you were trying to plan how to kill an incredibly high-profile person, would you come up with, as a professional, would you come up with the plan of, well, in broad daylight, in front of 3,000 witnesses, many of whom are running cameras, on a campus that has unknown number of cameras running all the time, 24/7. I'm going to climb up on a roof in an exposed position. And
this is what's so disgusting. They completely distort the argument. We don't think anyone climbed up on that roof and took a shot at Charlie Kirk, you freaking idiots.
And take this shot with a suppressed hunting rifle.
We don't.
That would never. If your government asked you to do that,
Tyler Robinson's the patsy, you idiot. Okay, and he wasn't even on the roof. We think it was the road mic.
Would say, "Hey guys,"
or I do at least.
I think we probably have to.
But I'm open to the possibility it could have been someone from a different location with a different rifle or inside the crowd. But it's still, what's hard for me about that is I don't think it would have been that by itself. I still think that something exploded under Charlie's shirt, on Charlie's shirt. You can't explain the shirt movement. You can't explain the necklace breaking from cavitation. We don't even see cavitation in any of the videos that we've seen. You can't explain anything that we saw happen to Charlie Kirk with a bullet. You just can't.
Think this through. There's probably about 5,000 ways that we could do this that don't involve me getting caught on camera. The fact that there isn't video of him, you say, most people who are convicted of murder, we don't have any video of them. And here you have a lot of video, but maybe not the very moment.
No, you don't have the video of Tyler. You have a bunch of videos of a bunch of different people. And here's the thing. Is Israel on trial for murder? No. Then they got away with it, you freaking idiot. The claim is, could they pull off a sophisticated hit on Charlie Kirk and get away with it? Is Bibi on trial? Is anyone in the government being investigated? Is Mossad being investigated? Nope. Are we seeing any footage, videos, or testimony about anyone else other than Tyler Robinson? Nope. So it looks like it is possible. And it looks like they did get away with it.
Luck is not a business model. If you're the professional sniper, it's only luck that there isn't video. It's only luck that somebody didn't hear it and not even try to record it, but just do this and capture the shooter standing up briefly to run off the roof.
Well, there's a flaw in your logic to begin with, and that is he actually wasn't killed with that rifle.
Right, right.
So, and this is where things have always been crazy for me. It's like, okay, Israel, I think we've narrowed it down. Israel was involved. Clearly, the United States had to be involved because, I don't know, Charlie was definitely going to be a future president. He was about to turn on Trump. I don't know. But this is the problem with all that. It's like, what we did is we put together this extremely sophisticated, complicated assassination plan. And we've created a patsy. And it was so sophisticated, so well executed that everybody got away with it. But the one thing, it's like, yeah, hey man, you took the shot from a different location that nobody saw, nobody heard, yes. All right, great job. You did that. What were we shooting? 223. What did we leave with the patsy? 30-06. Oh.
Yeah.
Bad move. Oh, like that was the one.
So stupid. They don't even represent our actual argument. Hold on, let me get this. Is 9:01. My wife sent me this and said this is something good to watch at 9:01. Wait, Dana went on this woman's show? Okay. Let's go right to here. Am I sharing it? Is it on the screen? Yes. Okay. Where'd it go? There it is.
To stand and try to maintain that audience, and it can be kind of turbulent, but that doesn't mean that you stop being a good person, and it doesn't mean that you stop calling out bad things when you see bad things happening. It was inexcusable for Candace Owens to treat Erica Kirk this way, just as it was inexcusable to excuse Candace Owens' behavior by saying, well, I can't condemn it because she's a mother. So is Erica Kirk. Erica Kirk is a mother. There are a lot of people that are involved in TPUSA that are still parents. That's neither here nor there. That should be applicable to her as well. So I feel like, that does not do anything. That does not stop what was put in place months ago by the very people who were angling to add to their audience off of it by doing it, if that makes any sense. And so I don't know. It frustrates me. I tried reaching out to these people back channel. I reached out to Tucker back channel. We argued at length about all of this stuff. I said, do you want to bring it on air? No, I'm going to stay on my show, he told me.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be next to you. Are you kidding me? He doesn't want to share a screen with you. You're nobody, Dana. You're a has-been. You're a never was. You're irrelevant. You realized that the only way to get back into relevancy in the small manner in which you have is to insert yourself as someone that will push the stupid Fed slop narrative and defend Erica Kirk. Okay, you got on that stage. No one knew who you were. People knew who you used to be, a Democrat, by the way. Just like many of these other Democrats that weren't anything and then realized, oh, I can do better over there. Okay. You were nothing. And then you did your whole widow speech. And people are like, who's this chick? What the frick? And now here you are.
Because I built my show for me to air my opinions. Well, I'm not going to be a softball. I'm going to be a friend. And I'm going to point out, well, that's back when we were friendly. And I'm going to point out where I think you're wrong. And if you are really that secure in your convictions, you're not going to take it personally.
No, he just doesn't want to entertain you. You're a joke, Dana. You're gross. You're gross.
And take your ball and go home and refuse to have any kind of conversations outside of your safe space circle. But that's all what Podcastistan is anymore. It is a circle jerk for weak-minded people with weak convictions to pat each other on the back and sell ads off of it. That's all it is anymore. It's not deep dive thinking. It's not real analysis. It's literally true crime, mommy sleuthing soap operas. That's all it is anymore, without any consideration for the feelings or livelihood of anyone else. So long story short, I don't think that it does near as much as it could have done. And I think that a lot of people should have been tapping the brakes on this in the weeks after this happened, not when the trial starts.
I want to say one quick thing. I remember when Megyn Kelly said, I can't attack Candace Owens because she's a young mom. She attacked me when I was 7 months pregnant. And I was I just don't understand. And I'm not young. I'm 41. I'm an old mom, but
that is off the table because she's a mom, but she can attack Erica Kirk, who is also a mom, a younger mom with kids. I mean, that doesn't make any, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. I think it was a cop-out.
Oh, you're gross. I don't know how these people get up here each day and do what they do. Oops, I didn't mean to do that one. Hold on. Let me pull this off though, real quick. Let me get to always be true. Is she black? She's as dark as me. Barbecue Dana. Yeah. Yeah. What's up with all these older people doing all these things, trying so hard to look younger than they really are? You know it doesn't work, right? You're just, ignoring reality, right? You can do all that you're doing, take your Ozempic, right? And tan yourself and facelift and Botox and lip injections. But guess what? You're still ugly on the inside and on the outside, Dana. Period. End of story. All right. Let's see. I think I maybe already covered this. Hold on.
It was the fourth day of
Yeah,
the preliminary.
All right. We're good. And this is the same, I think. Yeah. All right. Let me pull it off. I didn't get to finish Graham. Let's just see if he says anything stupid. Probably will.
We had the testimony of the other SBI agent, not the FBI, the SBI agent today. We had the ATF forensics person come in there. We've got the DNA from earlier from the FBI, along with all of the DNA on the cartridge, the gun, everything. We were wondering when they were going to bring the rifle in. Well, they brought it in today, and it was 1 in a trillion type of odds.
Yeah.
And again, innocent until proven guilty. Charlie believed in that. I believe in that. As frustrating as this judicial process.
Yeah, I'm done with him too. I'll just say this regarding the DNA and all that. If all this stuff was in Tyler's apartment or condo or house with Lance Twiggs, and if he was planning to go hunting with his grandfather, his hands, his fingerprints and DNA would be on some of these the ammunition, on the rifle. I think because Lance was living with him, right? Lance knew that Tyler was planning to go on this hunting trip with his father and grandfather. I think Lance is the one that etched the things on those casings, right? After Tyler had touched them and handled them, maybe cleaned the rifle, maybe, get ammo ready. They supposedly went to a firing range and practiced. They showed shooting targets as evidence. Okay. What the frick? Okay. He went to a shooting range and shot targets, and he's going to pull the targets down. His fingerprints are going to be on that. How does that prove that Tyler was on UVU campus on the Losi Center on September 10th at 12:23 firing a rifle? It doesn't. Everything they have is circumstantial that they're adding and they add, and they're like enough. And Barron said this too, that many cases have, people have been found guilty on enough circumstantial evidence. The prosecution knows that, man. And so Lance Twiggs had access to all the things that are in evidence, all the physical pieces of evidence, like the towel, the rifle, the screwdriver, the rounds. And if Tyler had touched them at any time before the 10th, and then Lance did what he did with them, put etchings on them, loaded them in the gun. All he had to do was wear gloves when he did it. After Tyler touched it, he just needed to make sure that, well, not even, because it's inside of his house, his DNA is on it. His fingerprints were on a lot of this stuff too. But he can just, it's his deniability is that, like, yeah, I live in the house. Yeah, we shared things. Yes, he showed me that. And I think it's crazy that they're pointing to the DNA and fingerprints of Tyler and saying guilty. They look at Lance's fingerprints and DNA and go, well, no, he was in the house. And of course his DNA and prints are going to be on it. The same logic applies to Tyler Robinson, you freaking morons. It's so tragic, actually. This week to me showed me how vulnerable we all are. How dangerous Why did that sound weird? Dangerous. Yeah. Our legal system is, and that it can be weaponized to prosecute anyone that they deem, that they want. And the presentation of the evidence this week showed that they're not interested in facts. They're interested in presenting their narrative. They're going to point at whatever piece of evidence and tell you what they think it means. And they don't care if that means an innocent person goes to jail, goes to prison, and gets the death penalty. They're not worried about that. They don't care. They're worried about their conviction rate. They're worried about saving face and keeping their job and their next job, right? They're making a name off of themselves for this case. One of the biggest cases of our lifetime. We talk about all the lawyers from the OJ case still today. This case is going to be the same. These people will go down in history as being on the defense and prosecution of this case. They'll get future job offers, or they'll get, future job refusals based on the results of this case, and they know that. And a case can be stringed together by a BS, fraudulent, circumstantial evidence that they can make out to be whatever they want. And we're all just one tragic event that we're present at away from this happening to us. Obviously, Tyler probably played some sort of role which led to him being singled out as the patsy for this case. So don't do any of that stuff to be singled out as a patsy. He obviously played some sort of role. He obviously, well, I can't say obviously because I don't know, I can't trust Lance Twiggs at all that anything that he's saying is true. But I mean, his parents and Lance's parents did say they do know each other and they were living together. So that much is true. I don't know if they were actually dating and in some sort of relationship and how far that went. But I mean, it's plausible that Tyler played a peripheral role in some sort of crime that he thought was happening on that day. Did he know that it was going to be the assassination of Charlie Kirk? I don't know. Did he agreed to walk on campus, get caught on camera in a maroon shirt because he thought that somehow was his role that day, and that was it. Picking up and dropping off clothes in the back of Dairy Queen, driving his car around campus, and in that other shop, that strip mall where he was caught, his car was at least caught. We don't know who's in the car, actually. We never see inside the car. It's tinted. We don't know that Tyler's in that Charger or Challenger when we're seeing it drive around everywhere. And the video that the prosecution showed of them parking, supposedly getting out, they cut it, and the eyewitnesses say no, a middle-aged white bald guy got out and 3 other occupants, but they cut it out and it's so far away and grainy we can't see. They didn't admit into evidence the testimony of the people that saw, firsthand witnessed those 4 individuals get out of the car. Agent Hall conveniently left that out. And then when the defense crossed and said, how come you didn't mention that? Well, because it doesn't fit the narrative. That's why. That's how. Olgatronic, what up? What up? I once got pulled over for speeding, and the cop let me go because Dana was on my radio. The cop had a crush on her, told me to stay cool and slow down. That's a funny story. Ugh. Dana Laish got you out of a ticket. Oh, that's hilarious. Lance Twiggs didn't even identify Eagle t-shirt suspect. No, I guess you're right. I could show that, huh? Hold on. I feel like they showed it somewhere on here. Actually, let me pull it up. Because I thought that was pretty powerful. They show him the clip. and then they ask him, can you identify that as Tyler Robinson? And he goes, no, not really. Where is the full trial video here? Hold on. Share big. Let me get that off of there real quick. Boom. Hold on. I'm getting there, guys. Just give me a sec. All right. Now we just got to scream through this. Okay. Hold on. It was during the questioning. Hold on. Let me find it real quick. Okay. Oh, that was it. Oh, I don't know when. Oh, here we go.
And you talked about that with your friends, right? Like him.
Yeah, his friends. Yeah, I don't know if I talked. I don't remember if I talked about it with any of my friends. And then since I didn't have my phone after that for a while, and I still am not using social media, I don't know on my friends.
Oh, it was before that. And I thought that was interesting too. They don't have the same friends.
Any of the media on this?
I'd seen one Instagram link a friend of mine had sent in our group chat, but I hadn't really looked into it at all.
That's weird.
Had you seen the images that were released of the suspect?
I did the next day. I don't think I saw any on the 10th.
I'm going to show you a couple of those images.
That's a lie.
Okay, I'm on the FBI's website.
You
can see the URL there at the top. This is some press release about this event. And here on the screen, you see these, looks like there's 2 rows of 3 images.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recognize the person in these images?
I wouldn't say it with 100% certainty just because of camera quality, but that looks like him in terms of the shoes he's wearing.
The shoes he's wearing.
The sunglasses.
The sunglasses.
I don't think I'd specifically seen him wearing that hat, but he was usually wearing a hat.
He was usually wearing a hat.
And then jeans.
And jeans. Are you freaking kidding me?
So it definitely, especially the bottom, the last 2, definitely do look like him.
These 2. This grainy, blotchy, this one. Give me an actual break, ladies and gentlemen. He goes, I can't with 100% certainty identify him because the quality of the video, but his shoes, his hat, his glasses. Well, no, he goes, the shoes, and then he goes, when he usually wears a hat and he wears sunglasses, and he's got jeans. He's got a pair of jeans. This guy clearly had jeans. He's wearing them. Tyler's got a couple pair of jeans. So it's got to be him. And yes, those last 2 photos that you can't tell Adam from Steve who that is, those look like him though. Yeah, now I see where you're wanting me to go with this line of questioning. Yes, the answer is yes, it does look like him. That's the case. That's the case, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're towards the end of the video, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't done so already, I haven't said this much during today's video. Please do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe. It's how you can support me, and I appreciate it. Also, after the video posts, please go over to the video in the comment section. Write a comment for me. It helps the algorithm. You can also hype the video for free, and it helps the algorithm as well and get me to new viewers. And it lets people that don't know about this amazing community where we are, where to find us each day at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time Every day we do this. I don't know why my camera's doing that weird thing again. It hasn't done that in a long time. Stop it. Auto tracking. I'll try not to move. All right. Also, you guys, if you want to donate, but you don't want to give through YouTube, you can give your support and donation here through the Venmo, the Black Line Brief Venmo account. You just scan the QR code, or you could do it here at buymeacoffee.com/the Black Line Brief. Just after you do, write a note or a memo about what you would like your donation to go to. All right. Now we're at the part of the show where we watch Charlie Kirk. Okay.
About being called a fascist. I don't care being lied about. Why is it a lie? Because I'm not a fascist. I believe in a free society. Let me ask you, who's the fascist? The guy that's smiling in the sun, or the 500 people barking trying to prevent me from speaking? How do you feel about?
Oh, Charlie. You know, it's so sad.
Very important. Sir Isaac Newton fell asleep underneath a tree. And then an apple hit him. Kind of like this. So then he came up with the 3 laws. Okay, see, that's the issue. Is you keep on thinking when you drop it, it comes back up, but it doesn't. Okay? The 3 laws of Newtonian physics. You're going to be quizzed on this later, you know. An object at rest will stay at rest. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. For example, if I push it, it goes. And finally, force equals mass times acceleration. Any questions?
Oh, man, I miss him.
Speak to you, your gender is a category that you fall into.
I thought that gender is fluid.
Why are the IDF soldiers fighting Christian people during Easter? They're not allowing them to go into church.
Actually, that's not true. So let's talk about that. That's a lie.
Why don't you believe that white privilege exists?
Is there anything that you can't do that I can do?
No, we could do the same things if we put our minds to it.
Good. Then there's no white privilege. You know how we heal our divides? By talking to people we disagree with.
Yeah. Yep. And people want to say that Charlie, right? The one that went on campus events and spoke to college students was so evil that it motivated a 20-something-year-old to kill him. When Lance Twiggs was asked if Tyler and him ever talked about Charlie Kirk, he said no. It never came up. Tyler never really even talked about transgender LGBT. Tyler never talked about transgender LGBTQ issues with Lance. That's supposedly the motive for this whole thing. And they're in a relationship and they live together, and Tyler and him never talked about it. Tyler never brought it up to him ever, how he felt about Charlie Kirk and this whole trans and LGBTQ thing. But he was motivated enough to then go and kill him. But never came up in topic or conversation before that. Yeah. Okay. That's the kind of, it's freaking nuts, you guys. All right, you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for another great episode. I hope you guys have a great night. God bless you guys. Love you guys. I'll see you guys here tomorrow. We're going to be having on Matt Tuzzarone and Mitch Snow. It's official. We're going to do 3 of us together. Myself, Matthew Tuzzarone, and Mitch Snow. So please stay tuned for that. It's going to be a good one. You won't want to miss it. Christ is King. Christ is King. I love you guys. God bless you guys. Have a good night. Bye.